Chapter 4164. Hearing Xiaohua's words, Yu Mingxin bit her lips, but she didn't get up. Instead, she lowered her head and said in a hoarse voice, Junior knows this matter is a bit difficult for Senior Xiao. Previously, Senior led the Fortune Gate's disciples to kill the devil race for the Ruins cultivators. But in the end, the Ruins cultivators didn't believe Senior, and even wanted to use some underhanded means against the Fortune Gate's disciples. Junior doesn't want to say any more apologetic words. What Junior wants to say is that the Ruins is now in imminent danger. The devil race doesn't dare to invade near the soaring Dragon Mountain range where Senior is. But in other places, the Great Barrier Array has been broken, and a large number of devil race have invaded the Ruins. They are building fortifications and occupying transmission arrays, preparing to completely annihilate the Ruins human race. Junior is a member of the human race, and also a cultivator of the Ruins. Junior's determination to protect the Ruins cannot be changed. Just like how Junior sacrificed my essence to save Senior. Now this Junior, along with Senior Apprentice Brother Chang Ming, Senior Apprentice Brother Yang Haoya, and Senior Apprentice Brother Huan Wuxin, have been ordered to go to a transmission array not too far away from here in order to ambush the patrolling demon race. Because we happened to pass by here, the sect master brought over some spatial rings and asked this Junior to give them to Senior. Although the sect master didn't say anything, this Junior understood what the sect master meant. This meaning, Senior should also understand. Therefore, Junior came to see Senior for the last time and bring these things to Senior. Saying this, Yu Mingxin took out some spatial rings and sent them to Xiaohua's eyes. Xiaohua looked at the spatial rings in the air, then looked at Yu Changming and the others behind Yu Mingxin and sighed. You all are seriously injured. How can you ambush the devil race? It's more like you're going to throw away your life. There's no other way. Yang Haoya smiled bitterly. We are the human race of the Ruins. We have to worry about the life and death of the human race. If our deaths can be exchanged for the devil race's defeat, we are also willing. AI, these are the pills this old man refined. Take some for each of you. Xiaohua sighed and sent some pills to the disciples. Yu Mingxin and the others received the pills and bowed. Many thanks Senior Xiao. Junior will take his leave. Don't worry. Xiaohua lifted his hand and received the spatial ring. He said, Miss Yu, you've already completed the task that Emolianshi gave you. What this old man wants to tell you is, if you want to live, don't leave the vicinity of the soaring Dragon Mountain range. Thank you for your reminder, Senior. This Junior still has to carry out military orders. Yu Mingxin replied very stubbornly. However, this Junior will be careful. Xiaohua still wanted to say something, but after hearing Yu Mingxin's words, he could only nod and say, just wait and go. If this old man can kill the Devil Emperor, you all won't have to die. You be careful. Yu Mingxin followed Yu Changming and the others, and flew 100 zhang away. He turned his head, and looked at Xiaohua's figure in the air. He couldn't help but send a message to Xiaohua. Yes, I know. Xiaohua took a deep breath and lightning flashed all over his body. He suddenly turned into a bolt of lightning, and disappeared into the air. The faint sound of thunder rumbled towards the southwest. TSK. Huan Wuxin smacked his lips and said enviously, Taoist Master Zhao's cultivation is becoming more and more unpredictable. I wonder when we'll be able to have such supernatural powers. Let's go and kill the devil race first. Yang Haoya couldn't hide the envy in his eyes. He said, only by driving away the devil race will we be able to cultivate in peace. Xiaohua flew for a long time, and then released his divine sense. He saw that in the skies above the southwest border, the flames were still as red as before. He didn't see any special devil chi or blood-red light. Even under this fiery red sky, there were very few devil race and humans fighting. It was as if the devil array had forgotten about this sad land. But the more it was like this, the more Xiaohua's heart tightened. He was too familiar with the devil race's diversion tactic. If the devil race didn't have some tricks up their sleeves in the southwest border, how could they not attack here? At this time, Xiaohua was a little surprised. He could see through the Devil Emperor's tricks. The cultivators of Ruins had fought with the Devil Emperor for hundreds of years. How could they not see through it? However, in a moment, Xiaohua laughed secretly again. He spent dozens of days of divination. The cultivators of the discussion hall didn't have this great supernatural power. How could they know to set up defenses in the southwest border? Damn it, I was a little impulsive earlier. Xiaohua was quite regretful. I should have told Huafei about this. Now that I've come alone, I'm going to fight the 3 devil emperors alone. While speaking, Xiaohua reached out and took out the ruins communication magic tool from the space. This was what the discussion hall had given to Sun Wu that day. He didn't have time to take it back later. Xiaohua stopped and activated his magic power. He opened the communication magic tool. Light flashed, and a messy image of fire and blood appeared. At the same time, a cultivator with a pale face appeared in the mirror. This cultivator looked at Xiaohua in bewilderment. Suddenly, he came to a realization and said in pleasant surprise, "Daoist Master Xiao, is there something you need?" "The southwest border," Xiaohua said concisely. "That's the main point of the Devil Emperor's attack. You and the others increased the defenses here." "Yes," that cultivator hurriedly responded, but then he said hesitantly, "But, Daoist Master Xiao, I won't hide it from you. I and the others have received a lot of information. They've spread to almost every part of ruins. When we activated the realm-protecting Great Formation, we also sent out even more disciples. However, it's obvious that almost half of the information is fake. We've been lured away by the Devil Race's plan. Many places have been broken through by the Devil Race. Yes, I've already heard that the Devil Race has attacked ruins. However, this doesn't count for anything. As long as we kill the Devil Emperor, the Devil Race will definitely retreat." Xiaohua said hurriedly. Previously, this Xiao has already used a divine ability to divine. This southwest is the breakthrough point of the Devil Race's attack. "I understand." That cultivator's spirit shook. He bowed and said, "So Daoist Master Xiao was using a great divine ability earlier. We misunderstood. Daoist Master, please wait a moment. This one will pass the information down right now." After saying that, the light of the communication magic tool disappeared. Xiaohua put away the magic tool and teleported to the front of the realm-protecting Great Formation. At this time, the flames of the Great Formation were heavy, burning the void until it was distorted. Waves of violent and disorderly aura drifted back and forth in the flames. Just as Xiaohua approached, those countless flames seemed to have sensed something and rushed towards Xiaohua's head. A kind of high temperature that could burn all things hit him in the face. Xiaohua might not be afraid of this Great Formation, but he still retreated 300 meters and said loudly, "I wonder which fellow Taoist is guarding this place? I, Xiaohua, am here to help." "Ha ha ha, Taoist Master Xiao, you really came." In the distance, a hearty laughter sounded. Then, a group of fireflies appeared in the flames and rushed over from the distance. At the place where the fireflies stopped, Yin Chei's figure poked out of the flames. Xiaohua did not dare to be negligent. He flew up and asked, "How is the situation?" "Very good," Yin Chei said with a smile. The Devil Emperor was beaten to a pulp by the Fortune Gate at the southwest border. They are extremely afraid. This time, they actually avoided the important matters and dared not to waste too much of their forces here. Therefore, I also have a rare moment of leisure. How could it be so simple? Xiaohua said cautiously. The Devil Emperor is the best at creating a diversion. This Xiao feels that the southwest border is the Devil Emperor's true focus. Yin Che was a little dumbfounded. He hurriedly asked in a low voice, "Could it be that Taoist Master thinks that thing is here? Is the fire and earth magnetic field something that your Xindao sect wants?" Xiaohua did not dare to hide and asked directly. Yin Che shook his head. "There is a fire and earth magnetic field under Mount Yong'an. This Yin knows. This thing is useful to Mount Yong'an, but it is useless to my Xindao sect." Xiaohua did not want to explain and said, "This Xiao obtained it through divination. This Xiao has already informed the conference hall. They will probably send reinforcements very soon." Yin Che's eyes lit up when he heard this. He gave out orders and said in surprise, "Taoist Master really surprises this Yin. The divine ability of the Moon God Palace's priests is actually something that Taoist Master can understand. This is really inconceivable." After giving out orders, Yin Che took out a cloud-shaped crystal plate and handed it to Xiaohua, saying, Taoist master, wear this on your body and you will be able to freely enter and exit the Great Formation. Okay. Xiaohua took the crystal plate. Just as he put it on his body, the crystal plate immediately produced fiery threads that wrapped around Xiaohua's body. At the same time, sparks also scattered from the Great Formation. These sparks were different from the flames from before. They were filled with a kind of gentleness. When the sparks and the fiery threads merged together, a feeling of perfect harmony was born from Xiaohua's perception. It was as if the entire Great Formation had become one with him. Fellow Taoist. A curtain of fire also appeared around Yunchei's body and covered Yunchei's body. He slowly flew into the Great Formation. Yunchei opened his mouth and said, Please follow this yin into the formation. First, familiarize yourself with the Great Formation. This yin will discuss with fellow Taoist how to protect it. Okay. Xiaohua nodded. He moved his body and slowly merged into the Great Formation. That comfortable feeling surrounded his body, just like what Xiaohua saw when he passed through the earth, fire, wind, and lightning. The Great Formation of the world of ruins was divided into many layers. The formation of each layer was very different. There were many treasures embedded in each layer that were like the stars in the sky. They acted as the eye of the formation and provided the formation with the vital energy of heaven and earth and the necessary means of attack. There were even many cultivators hidden in specific places on each layer. They activated the formation to defend or attack, according to the command of the person guarding the formation. Although Xiaohua's cultivation was at the great ascension stage, it was still wishful thinking for him to break through the Great Formation from the front. After looking at the Great Formation situation, Xiaohua and Yunchei discussed a little more about how to defend this place against the crazy attacks of the Devil Monarch. The two of them moved again and flew out of the Great Formation. Before they could fly out, they heard the faint sounds of fighting, rumbling, and the frightening cries of devil beasts. The devil race must be attacking, Xiaohua thought as he increased his speed. However, just as Xiaohua escaped the flames of the Great Formation, before he could even release his divine sense to investigate anything, a feeling of extreme fear rose from the bottom of his heart. Chapter 4165. Damn it! Xiaohua's expression changed. This familiar fear made him see the crisis in front of him, and it also made him suddenly understand a lot. The Demon Emperor is too cunning. No wonder they only sent the Demon Monarch to participate in the war with the cultivators of the ruins over the past few months. They didn't show up at all. It turns out that it's not that they disdain to fight with Dao Transformation cultivators. It's that they're worried about the murder devil saber in my hand. They've been lying in ambush here for several months, waiting for me to show up here. They'll kill me in one fell swoop and work together to obtain the murder devil saber. They'll eliminate the last obstacle to attacking the ruins. But Xiaohua was a little confused again. How did they know that I would definitely come to the southwest? If I didn't know the art of divination and knew that the southwest border was a dangerous place, they would have rushed to the southwest. That's why they hurriedly rushed to the southwest. Wouldn't that mean that they were waiting for nothing? Alas, success is due to divination, and failure is also due to divination. Xiaohua seemed to have understood something, just like Jiuxia's expression when he saw Xiaohua take out the grain seed in Million Mountain Meng. His appearance here was both a cause and an effect. It was impossible to say clearly what the cause and effect was. Thinking of this, Xiaohua's figure did not hesitate to escape toward the realm-protecting Great Array. Unfortunately, a burst of crazy sobbing sound came out of nowhere. Just below Xiaohua, in the realm-protecting Great Array, thousands of thumb-sized bubbles suddenly appeared in the layers of crimson flames. These bubbles instantly burst, and wisps of flickering silver-black devil light rushed out from within. As soon as these devil light flashed, they immediately disappeared into the void. Above Xiaohua's head, millions of silver-black light spots appeared in the devil formation that looked like a monster pressing down. As these light spots flickered, Xiaohua felt that the entire space had an indescribable fluctuation. Sure enough, when Xiaohua's figure fell into the realm-protecting Great Array, An extremely thin layer of restriction blocked his figure. Damn it! Xiaohua cursed and scanned with his divine sense, but he saw that this strange restriction did not block his divine sense. Moreover, Xiaohua's magic power and other things did not change in this space. At this time, Xiaohua's heart calmed down a bit. Unfortunately, just as Xiaohua felt relieved, huge black lightning bolts whistled from the surroundings of the demonic array, covering several tens of thousands of kilometers of space. Amidst these lightning bolts, 3 huge demonic figures came out of the demonic array, holding demonic artifacts. Right in front of Xiaohua was the first Devil Emperor he had met. At this moment, the Devil Emperor was vastly different from before. His head was like a star, flashing with a jewel-like brilliance. Several black holes were flowing with filthy blood and flashing black light. They looked like the 7 apertures of a human. From the black light, one could see a hint of mockery and arrogance. Above the huge demonic body, waves of silver-black demonic chi condensed into demonic seals. These demonic seals were flowing with blood-red demonic patterns. The demonic patterns overflowed around the Devil Emperor's body, and from time to time, cracks identical to the demonic patterns would appear in the void. Sparkling blood-red threads would seep out from the cracks and fall into the demonic patterns. Apart from demonic seals, the Devil Emperor's demonic body was also covered in blood flames formed by the demonic blood mixed with demonic flames. These blood flames were also divided into different regions, and within each region, there were blood demons of different shapes. The blood demons of the same region were not biting and devouring each other, but the blood demons of different regions were also devouring each other with their blood flames. There were 3 demonic arms formed from white bones around the Devil Emperor's body. One of the demonic arms was empty, while the other 2 were holding 2 huge demonic hammers. They were also flashing with a strange blood-red light, indicating that they were different from other demonic artifacts. At first glance, these demonic hammers were several hundred meters in size. When they were swung, the surrounding void would rapidly tremble. The demonic hammers were covered with skeletal patterns, and there were also traces of demonic patterns between the skeletal patterns. The demonic patterns on the 2 demonic hammers were somewhat different. One of the demonic patterns revealed the shape of a huge mountain ridge, and an incomparably vigorous aura was emitted from the demonic hammer. The other demonic pattern revealed endless strange thunderbolts. These thunderbolts were formed by the demonic heads, and they were incomparably strange and solemn, as they were emitted from the fine patterns. The 2 demonic hammers were like demonic artifacts, but at the same time they were not. Clearly, they were here to deal with the demonic saber murder. Not only that, the empty demonic arm of the Devil Emperor was silver-black in color, which was different from the previous demonic arms. The Devil Emperor's lower body had several mountain-like legs. At this moment, the legs of the Devil Emperor produced pitch-black thunderbolts. These thunderbolts were different from Xiaohua's lightning arts, and they were filled with berserk violence. Looking at the other 2 Devil Emperors, they were the 2 Devil Emperors that Xiaohua had met in the Misty School of Pingjiang. However, at this moment, the 2 Devil Emperors were also different from before. Both of them were 100,000 feet tall. One of the Devil Emperors was covered in a demonic armor. The armor was silver-gray in color, and there were tens of millions of demonic spots condensed on it. The demonic spots emitted sizzling sounds, and layers of black chi corroded the void. The pair of demonic wings on the back of this Devil Emperor was also 100,000 feet long. There were no feathers on the wings, and instead, they were filled with bone spikes. Between the bone spikes, there were howling wandering souls. As the demonic wings flapped, dense demonic chi would spread in the air, and heart-wrenching cries would be emitted from the demonic wings. What made Xiaohua dizzy the most was the demonic horn on the forehead of this Devil Emperor. This horn was incomparably black, and when his gaze landed on it, he couldn't see its specific shape. It was either in the shape of a sword spike or a pagoda. Occasionally, he could even see the image of a Buddha Lord on the horn. The demonic arm of the Devil Emperor, that stretched out from the demonic armor, was also emitting dense demonic chi. It was holding a huge demonic spear. This demonic spear was different from the other demonic weapons. It was grayish-white in color, and its entire body seemed to be refined by several huge bone dragons. Several white bones intertwined together, and at the tip of the spear, it transformed into a huge dragon head. In addition to the grayish-white brilliance, there was also a faint black chi. This black chi came from the dragon horn of the dragon head. This black chi was different from the black chi around the Devil Emperor. It had a kind of sacred and strange feeling. The dragon horn was naturally the tip of the demonic spear. As the demonic arm of the Devil Emperor waved, dark red demonic patterns appeared on the surface of the demonic spear. The demonic patterns overflowed, and a mysterious aura rushed into the dragon horn of the bone dragon. As for the other Devil Emperor, he was no longer a headless celestial being. Now he was 100,000 feet tall bone bird. This bone bird spread its wings, and tens of thousands of feet of black chi rushed out from the white bones, covering the entire space. Between the 100 jong long bones of the bone bird, numerous pitch-black thunderbolts that were even thicker than a child's arm were flickering with each other. An aura of an ancient desolate overlord was emitted from these white bones that were still alive even though they were dead. It mixed with the devilish nature of the devilish aura, forming a devilish wave that filled the sky, surging and pouncing towards Xiaohua. In the bones of the bone bird that were covered with demonic patterns, there was an extremely faint golden light flowing. Golden-winged great peng bone bird? Xiaohua was the one who paid the most attention to this strange zombie race. Seeing the might of this bone bird, and the fear of its natural enemy coming from the dragon vein, Xiaohua immediately came to a realization. His heart tightened and he cried out in his heart, "Not good. These 3 demon emperors came prepared. Holy shit. They haven't just been recuperating for the past decade or so. They've been looking for a way to kill me. Even if all of my avatars come out now, I'm afraid I won't be a match for them." Xiaohua turned his head to look at Yun Che while he was pondering. However, he saw that the distant Yun Che's face was also pale. He had been guarding this great formation all this time, but he never thought that the Devil Monarch had secretly set up a trap at some point in time. He really didn't know where to put his face. "Yun Che." Xiaohua looked at Yun Che indifferently and asked, "What's going on? Don't you want to give me a reason?" Yun Che smiled bitterly and shook his head. "Spiritual Master Xiao, what reason do I have to give you?" As he spoke, Yun Che looked at the sky full of thunderbolts. He raised his hand and slapped his forehead. Streams of heaven and earth origin energy turned into tornadoes and rushed into his body. His entire body seemed to inflate like a balloon, and a 5-colored shadow of a primordial spirit flickered in his body like a candle. Rumble! Without waiting for Yun Che's nascent spirit image to form, Xiaohua rubbed his hands together, and several seals directly turned into thousands of thunderbolts that fell into the void. Huge thunderclaps came from high up in the sky, and layers of tree-shaped thunderbolts soared into the sky like a jade wave. Those jade waves were filled with faint clouds, and it looked as if they were not inferior to the black thunderbolts that fell from the devil formation. Sure enough, the black thunderbolts collided with Xiaohua's thunderbolts in the space of tens of thousands of kilometers. An earth-shaking explosion was born between the 2 kinds of thunderbolts. That black thunderbolt suddenly rolled back, but it only rushed up 100 meters before it fell back down with a loud bang. Although Xiaohua was thin and weak, he had an extremely tall figure. Then he suddenly raised his hands. Whoa! The domain that covered his body instantly expanded, and the entire domain was filled with popping sounds. The void within 10,000 kilometers was boiling. Immediately, the thunderbolts that were suppressed by the Devil Formation's thunderbolts roared crazily again. 2 layers of thunderbolts rolled in the void as if the sky was collapsing. The void thousands of meters away whimpered, and the black and white brilliance were like small snakes. Between the light and the darkness, all the lightning was swallowed by the void, leaving only a layer of chaotic void cracks that were at least 3,000 meters wide that were either expanding, twisting, or slowly mending. Looking at Xiaohua again, his face was somewhat pale. Obviously, the domain that he had just used to resist the Devil Formation and the 3 great Devil Emperors was somewhat beyond his ability. Although Yun Che had somewhat overestimated Xiaohua's divine ability, he still couldn't help but be shocked when he saw Xiaohua's boundless magic power. However, He only hesitated for a moment. His nascent spirit image didn't stop, and it continued to fly toward the spatial cracks in the sky. Fellow Taoist Yun. Seeing that the 3 devil emperors were about to come, Xiaohua shouted in shock. Go and inform Lu Wuxia and the other fellow Taoists. These 3 devil emperors are backed by a devil formation, and we are definitely not their match if we fight them alone. We must rely on the Great Realm Barrier formation to resist them. Yes. Yun Che hesitated for a moment, and looked at Xiaohua with a complicated gaze. Then, a trace of gratitude appeared in his eyes, and he instantly flew toward Lu Wuxia's direction. Chapter 4166. When Xiaohua saw that Yun Che had left, he looked at the devil formation in the distance that looked like dark clouds pressing down on his head. He also looked at the seemingly endless fire formation beneath his feet. After that, his gaze fell on the countless pillars of blood in the air, and the human cultivators and devils fighting each other inside the flames around the pillars of blood. Xiaohua retracted his gaze, thought for a moment, and took out the Kunlun mirror. In the flickering light, Dragon Vein Xiaohua, Phoenix Body Xiaohua, Bone Tempering Xiaohua, Devil Spirit Xiaohua, Green Robed Xiaohua, Soul Cultivator Xiaohua, Confucian Cultivator Xiaohua, Buddha Bodhi, and Sun Tian flew out. As soon as the avatars appeared, they immediately understood Xiaohua's thoughts. Dragon Vein Xiaohua dodged the golden-winged Great Pung Bone bird, and pounced on the first Devil Emperor with Buddha Bodhi and Bone Tempering Xiaohua. He shouted, Wuma Devil Emperor, come and report your name. I will fight you. Haha, you are just a few avatars, yet you are so arrogant. The Demon Emperor revealed the origin of Dragon Vein Xiaohua, and waved his devil hammer. Although his pillar-like body was already close to the spatial fault filled with spatial cracks, he still laughed loudly and said, I am the Emperor of the Horned Armored Race. Who are you waiting for? I am Ho. I am a Deva monk Bodhi. The 3 avatars were not surprised. Each of them grew to 10,000 feet in size, and pounced on the spatial fault. Dragon Vein Xiaohua left, the scholarly cultivator Xiaohua, the green-robed Xiaohua, and the demonic spirit Xiaohua exchanged a glance, and they too rushed toward the second demonic spear-wielding Demon Emperor. They shouted, Demon Emperor Wu Na, come and report your name. This humble Taoist will fight with you. Haha. I am the Dragon Armor Race's Emperor Ho. The winged Devil Emperor was the same size. The devil horn on his forehead flashed at the same time as the devil horn on his devil spear. The Devil Emperor waved his devil spear, and instantly pierced a hole in the void that was thousands of feet long. His body flashed across the void as he shouted arrogantly, Who are you? Little Shengwen Chu. Confucian Xiaohua raised his hand and pointed. The other 2 beside him shouted, This is thunder and slaughter. We will send you to the afterlife. Afterlife? Huang Jin was a little puzzled, but he didn't ask any questions. He flapped his wings, and a layer of faint black gas mixed with blood-red light covered the sky. A demonic blood realm was like a fishing net, trying to control the 3 doppelgangers. The soul cultivator Xiaohua raised his head, and looked at the golden-winged giant pungbone bird, whose aura was oppressive. Green light flashed in his eyes, and indescribable waves of energy spread out from his body. At the same time, his body suddenly expanded, and he shouted, Demon Emperor, could it be that you only know how to borrow the shells of other races? Do you have your own name? I am Huang Qi of the zombie race. The Demon Emperor's voice was sharp like a bird's chirp. This emperor only needs to kill you. I don't care what body I'm using. Then, Huang Xiyuan glanced at Dragon Vein Xiaohua and sneered. If you are not afraid, why don't you dare to fight with this emperor? Such a cowardly person. Why are you talking to me about borrowing? Ha ha ha. Fellow Taoist dragon bloodline, there's no need to fight. Soul cultivator Xiaohua shouted. I the shaman, and fellow Taoist Phoenix Parasol can kill you. Ha ha ha. Aren't you afraid of losing your teeth? Huang Xiyuan laughed even harder. Do you know what it means to boast shamelessly? With just the 2 of you, how can you be a match for this emperor? What if I join you? Sun Jian didn't quite understand at first, but after Xiaohua's voice transmission, he understood the situation in front of him. Brandishing his 3-pointed double-edged sword, He flew to Xiao Hua's side and coldly said. At this time, his primordial spirit doppelganger had already been deployed. The light golden 10,000-meter-long doppelganger was draped in battle armor, and a surge of righteous and upright Confucian aura emanated from it, causing Huang Xiyuan's heart to tremble. Die! Phoenix Parasol Xiao Hua's eyes flashed with cold light, and the power of the stars and moon around him was activated, forming an armor of stars and moon around his body, firmly protecting his body. At the same time, his tens of thousands of meter-long wings spread out with an aura that blotted out the sky and covered the sun. As he waved his wings, countless waves of air surged and ferociously pounced on Huang Xiyuan's golden-winged giant pungbone bird. His sharp phoenix claws were pressed tightly against the bird's abdomen, ready to strike at any moment. Seeing Phoenix Parasol move, Xiao Hua's body flickered as well. Millions upon millions of soul strands streaked across the sky, forming a complete soul cultivator Xiao Hua near the fault in space. At the same time, Xiao Hua opened his mouth, and a series of earth-shattering sounds of heaven and earth came out of his mouth. Then, the entire space shook, and the essence of heaven and earth flowed out of a mysterious location and into the enormous green seal script, emitting an indescribable power of heaven and earth. Kachacha. Layers of 3 corpses in lightning emerged from the fault in space, forming a new fortress that pounced on Demon Emperor Xiyuan. At this moment, the Demon Emperor Cui had already leaped across space and entered the spatial fault. The spatial crack that could tear an ordinary cultivator into pieces was instantly swept away by the Demon Emperor Cui's bony wings. Moreover, the moment the Demon Emperor Cui charged through the spatial fault, pitch-black thunderbolts appeared all over its body. Rumble. Continuous roars rang out as fist-sized thunderbolts fell like raindrops, smashing into the lightning waves of the 3 corpses in lightning. When the pitch-black thunderbolts came into contact with the jade-green lightning waves, it was like an ink brush falling into a jade pool, instantly dyeing the pool black. Moreover, the 2 different types of thunderbolts tore open the space within 1,000 miles once again, causing gusts of air and waves that had nowhere to go to spread out in all directions. Kacha. Amidst the waves of thunderbolts, Feng Wu's body soared into the sky, passing through the lightning. She flapped her wings, and the baleful wind sealed the space within 1,000 miles. However, the space within 1,000 miles was unable to contain Feng Wu's unparalleled demonic power. PFFF, 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 PFFF. A series of explosions sounded out as she pounced on Demon Emperor Xiyuan. Kacha. Demon Emperor Xiyuan's golden-winged great rock let out a raspy bird cry as it swooped down with its wings. There were no ripples, and demon chi filled the air within 1,000 miles. Moreover, when the great rock's wings pounced into the baleful wind, white bones rushed out of the demon chi like waves and pierced into every ruptured space. Hiss, 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 hiss. A series of strange noises sounded out. Before the noises stopped, the golden-winged great rock had already collided with Feng Wu. Boom! A huge explosion sounded out, and the light within 1,000 miles shook and flickered. Everything became distorted and unreal. Amidst the distortion, Feng Wu's huge body was sent flying by Demon Emperor Xiyuan. Kacha. Feng Wu let out a sorrowful cry. At the moment of impact, Feng Wu's star moon armor was torn apart by Demon Emperor Xiyuan's bony claws. Her chest was also torn into a bloody mess. Her demonic body that had been refined for 10,000 years was still unable to withstand the ferocity of the golden-winged great rock. Not only that, Feng Wu's wings were also covered in wounds. Demon Emperor Xiyuan's wings had turned into tens of millions of bone swords when he fought. Although Feng Wu's wings were equally powerful, she was still at a disadvantage. However, the golden-winged great rock's bony body was also flipped upside down by Feng Wu's attack. Its chest was crushed by Feng Wu's claws, and a pitch-black demon chi flowed out of the huge hole. It had to be said that Demon Emperor Xiyuan's plan was absolutely successful. The golden-winged great rock he found this time was far beyond the reach of the heavenly phoenix. Bizizi. Just as Demon Emperor Xiyuan's body was tumbling in the air, another loud screech came from behind him. Demon Emperor Xiyuan was shocked. His bony bird had abruptly turned around, and those pitch-black eyes of his flickered with a scarlet color. He saw that the Confucian cultivator Xiaohua, who was still high up in the sky, had unknowingly teleported behind him. The hundreds of green seal characters in the sky emitted a bewitching green light. These green seal characters shattered and reformed, transforming into a huge soul sword amidst the cries of gods and ghosts. The sword aura pierced through the sky and landed behind his head. The soul sword was like a mirage, both real and illusory. The edges of the soul sword crackled with dark green lightning. Demon Emperor Siyuan didn't dare to be careless. Numerous beams of blood-red light shot out from his skull, and a ghost head shield appeared. Devilish runes covered the ghost head, and pitch-black lightning crackled between the runes. Pooh! The soul sword fell, and the ghost head barrier immediately turned to dust. The sword force was like a rainbow as it landed on the Demon Emperor Qiong's bones. Shwa! Like the wind blowing snow. Although the bones did not change, the blood astral body and devil flame immediately rushed out from the dark cracks in the bones. The blood astral body and devil flame were shattered by the soul sword and scattered into the air. The Demon Emperor Qiong's bones twitched rapidly in the air, as if it had been severely injured. Delighted, Xiaohua blurted out another mouthful of green seal text. However, it was at this point that Sun Jian's voice suddenly rang out. Be careful, fellow Taoist. Golden light flashed as the three-pointed, double-edged saber slashed through the air toward Devil Emperor Qiong. Golden light flashed, and a pillar of energy shot out from within it. Soul cultivator Xiaohua was shocked. His body flashed. But just as he was about to move, tens of millions of bone swords appeared out of thin air like a folding fan. Each bone sword flashed with a blue luster. Hundreds of bone swords pierced into Xiaohua's 10,000 zhang tall avatar. Damn it! Xiaohua's face fell. He waved his hand, and a jade-green brush appeared in midair. Swish, swish, swish. The brush swish, swish. As it waved, the bone swords began to glow with a faint green light. Thick life force began to spread throughout the bone swords like poison. Ha ha! The ancient shamans are nothing more than this. The Demon Emperor Siyuan laughed heartily. Devil energy began to surge from the bone swords, and they began to choke off the sprouts. Unfortunately, the power of life and death was such that 30% of the bone swords couldn't withstand it, and they crumbled into dust. Whoa! As the Demon Emperor Siyuan blocked Xiaohua's attack, he reached out with his other bone claw. This bone claw was different from the other, and its edges were tinged with faint golden threads. Clang! The three-pointed, two-edged blade was sent flying away from the bone claw, and although Sun Jian had sent tens of thousands of beams of energy at him, he couldn't stop the Demon Emperor Siyuan's attack. As the three-pointed, two-edged blade flew away, and Sun Jian's body shot up into the air. Chapter 4167. In just a few moments, Soul Cultivator Xiaohua, Phoenix Body Xiaohua, and Sun Jian besieged Demon Emperor Qi but failed to kill him. Instead, Demon Emperor Qi was at a disadvantage. The Demon Emperor of the Demon World was as strong as Wen Chu, who was at the 9th level of origin energy. If Demon Emperor Qi was so hard to defeat, then Demon Emperor Qi was even harder to defeat. Dragon Bloodline Xiaohua dodged the golden-winged Great Pung Bone Bird and pounced towards the Demon Emperor Ho. Dragon Bloodline Xiaohua mumbled something and cast the Heavenly Dragon Speech technique. Waves of heaven and earth Yuan Qi condensed into crystal threads and stubbornly rushed out from the void sealed by the demonic array. Then, they condensed into strange dragon patterns that covered 1,000 miles around. Then, the 9-colored dragon horns on Dragon Bloodline Xiaohua's forehead emitted a mesmerizing halo. It was like a bugle horn that was raised to charge. The dragon patterns that covered 1,000 miles around were like thousands of soldiers and horses, releasing dragon roars as they pounced towards the Demon Emperor Ho. The 1,000-li-long dragon marks were like a torrential river. Each dragon mark contained a great amount of power. If they were in a normal place, they could destroy a mountain. However, Demon Emperor Qi didn't seem to panic when he saw the dragon marks rushing over. He opened his bloody mouth, and a river of blood flowed like a waterfall towards the dragon marks. However, the river of blood couldn't compare to the dragon marks. At first contact, blood splashed everywhere, and the army was utterly defeated. This is interesting. Watch this emperor's method. Demon Emperor Chi's voice sounded like he was sobbing. Then, his demonic arm that wasn't holding the demonic hammer waved in the air. The silver-black light on his demonic arm flickered slightly, as if it was breathing. Then, strange fluctuations appeared in the void. With these fluctuations, the power of the river of blood changed drastically. Every strand of blood gave birth to a demonic head. This demonic head was different from the previous demonic heads. Not only was it emitting a silver-black light, but it also had pitch-black lightning in its mouth. The previous demonic heads that were easily killed by the dragon marks now pounced on the dragon marks crazily and opened their mouths to devour the dragon marks. When the dragon marks entered the demonic head's body, the demonic head's body suddenly expanded. It actually turned into a demonic head with a dragon body. Dragon Vein Xiaohua turned pale with fright, and the rhythm of the heavenly dragon speech technique increased. Boom, boom, boom. The dragon marks that were swallowed into the devil heads exploded one after another, and the remaining dragon marks suddenly cracked open, and millions of cracks connected together and slashed towards the devil Emperor Chi. These cracks were not the same as a horned dragon, but were comparable to a horned dragon. Wherever they went, all the devil heads were swept clean, and even the blood devil heads that were emitting a silver-black light were annihilated in just a moment. Seeing how powerful the splitting dragon marks were, Demon Emperor Chi's body suddenly moved. It was still that silver-black demonic arm. Pa! It slapped the void. With a crisp sound, demonic marks rushed out of the void. These demonic marks let out a thunderous roar. Then a large area of the void cracked. Everything within a range of hundreds to thousands of miles was shattered into pieces. Another huge explosion sounded. The space fragments and the void cracks collided. See, Dragon Bloodline Xiaohua sucked in a breath of cold air. He looked at Demon Emperor Chi's demonic arm in disbelief. This demonic arm's divine ability was really far from the divine ability of the demonic race that he had imagined. Boom! While Dragon Bloodline Xiaohua was still in shock, a bronze figure appeared on his left hand. A strong aura of desolation rushed out, and Bone Tempering Xiaohua broke through the air. Bone Tempering Xiaohua also had a body of 10,000 zhang, but Bone Tempering Xiaohua looked more majestic than the other doppelgangers. As his huge palm moved, thousands of spatial cracks appeared, and the light and shadow within several li turned into shadows and fell into the bronze hand. Whoa! The wind from the fist streaked across the sky, making a strange whistling sound. At this time, a demonic pillar coincidentally appeared from the void, and seemed to be about to break into the protective formation below Bone Tempering Xiaohua. However, the moment this demonic pillar touched Bone Tempering Xiaohua's fist, the seemingly invisible demonic pillar was instantly swept away. The devils and demons inside didn't even have time to cry out before they were killed, leaving no trace behind. After killing the demons, Bone Tempering Xiaohua's fist didn't stop at all. It still rushed towards Demon Emperor Chi faster than a meteor. Good timing. I have been waiting for this attack for a long time. Demon Emperor Chi was so heroic that he didn't seem like a demon. He roared and waved his arms. One of the demonic hammers also whimpered and struck out. What was special was that Demon Emperor Chi's demonic arm was not only overflowing with blood and demonic chi, but also surging with dark demonic patterns. The mountain-like shape on the demonic hammer actually flew out and suspended outside the demonic hammer. Although the demonic hammer wasn't big, the area covered by the demonic patterns was huge. The demonic hammer carried the mountain-like flowing light and quickly rushed in front of Bone Tempering Xiaohua's fist. Bang! A loud sound rang out. Just the sound wave alone opened up the space within 1,000 miles. A series of spatial cracks appeared once again. Bone Tempering Xiaohua's whole body seemed to have been struck by lightning. Golden light flashed in the bronze color of his whole body, and then his whole body was hit and sent flying. Grandma! Bone Tempering Xiaohua shouted in a muffled voice. Without the wishful staff, I am at a disadvantage. Although Bone Tempering Xiaohua complained about the wishful staff, he knew in his heart that the 5 elements wishful heavenly staff at this time was not the real wishful staff. If his Dharma body was about 1,000 feet, Then the wishful staff could be used. Now that he had a Dharma body of 10,000 feet, the wishful staff in his hand looked slender and somewhat inadequate. In particular, Demon Emperor Chi's demonic hammer was also used to deal with the Devil Blade murder. A replica of an ancient artifact like the wishful staff may not be its opponent. However, while bone-tempering Xiaohua's figure was tumbling in mid-air, his big hand flashed, and the wishful staff appeared in his hand. Namo Mithriya Buddha. Buddha Bodhi chanted the name of Buddha, and his 8-foot golden body also stepped out of the void not far away. At this time, Buddha Bodhi's whole body flashed with golden light, but within the golden light, there was no angel and the image of the heavenly dragon. Even the heavenly flowers and Sanskrit sounds were vague, and could not be heard clearly. If it was not for the demonic array suppressing these visions, then it was because the moon god realm had blocked the power of faith of the Buddhist nation. The demon Emperor Chi's body clearly trembled when he heard Buddha Bodhi's Buddhist name. A red light flashed in his pitch-black eyes. The demonic hammer that was originally aimed at the bone-honing Xiaohua, and the demonic bone that was inserted into the dragon vein was hurriedly withdrawn. The two demonic hammers swayed and smashed towards Buddha Bodhi. In addition to the first demonic hammer that gave birth to the power of a mountain, the other demonic hammer also sprinkled a trace of dark demonic energy. In this demonic energy, thousands of demonic patterns appeared out of thin air, and a pitch-black thunderbolt rushed out of the demonic patterns, surging and rushing towards the 1,000 miles of space where Buddha Bodhi was. When this thunderbolt came out, not only was the nearby space sealed, Buddha Bodhi's body also tensed up. The power of the space's imprisonment was heavier than a mountain, and the tide of mind power in his body was firmly trapped in the thunderous sound of the thunderbolt. However, Buddha Bodhi did not panic in the slightest. His hands formed a seal, and he muttered, "Buddha is not Buddha, devil is not devil. Both Buddha and devil are done by humans. Whether one is Buddha or devil depends on the heart. Humans are not humans, gods are not gods. Humans and gods are cultivated by humans. Whether one is a human or a god depends on karma." Break. After he finished speaking, the red lotus karmic fire appeared in the Buddhist seal on his hands. This karmic fire burned wildly in the demonic array, and as Buddha Bodhi pushed it with difficulty, the karmic fire turned into a scarlet lotus, and with the power of karma, rushed towards the pitch-black thunderbolts that filled the sky. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! When Demon Emperor Chi saw the red lotus karmic fire, he could not help but be shocked, and he cursed angrily 3 times in a row. Although he was the demon emperor of the demon race, he was also afraid of karma. He had never thought that Buddha Bodhi would suddenly use such a move on him. It was really beyond his expectations. Demon Emperor Chi cursed in his heart, and the silver-black demonic arm had no choice but to reach out again. However, wherever the red lotus of karmic fire went, all the demon chi disappeared. There were no howls, no screams, and all the demons were cleansed. Even under the power of karma, half of the mountains and thunderbolts on the demonic hammer were destroyed. It was also at this moment that Devil Emperor Chi's demonic arm fell into the void and appeared right in front of the red lotus. With a poof, the demonic arm plunged into the red lotus. Amidst the rumbling, thousands of eerie white bones grew out of the red lotus. Although each of the white bones was quickly reduced to ashes by the karmic fire, the white bones surged out crazily and covered the entire red lotus in no time. The entire red lotus instantly expanded. Boom! With a loud sound, the red lotus of karmic fire was shattered by the demonic arm, and it turned into karmic fire and dissipated in the air. The demon emperor's 2 demonic hammers did not slow down, and they were still rushing toward Buddha Bodhi. Buddha Bodhi's eyes were filled with compassion, and he slowly raised his right hand, and in a flash he pointed at the air. At this point, the Buddha's light that soared into the sky was like a brilliant sunrise, and the demon chi within 1,000 miles disappeared in an instant. Moreover, the demonic runes on the 2 demonic hammers were also pierced by the Buddha's light, and countless demons were born, and their eyes were pierced by the Buddha's light, and they howled crazily. Not to mention these low-level devils. Even Devil Emperor Chi was injured by Buddha Bodhi's finger. Blood instantly flowed out of his black eye sockets, and the bloodstains all over his body were also filled with anguished wails. He cursed, "Damn it." Then, he quickly put away his twin hammers and wanted to be respectful again. However, at this moment on the other side of his body, a golden light flashed, and a huge dragon tail slashed through the void and pounced on his back. It was Dragon Vein Xiaohua who had seen the opportunity and was going to kill him with the most fatal blow. The 5 avatars and Sun Jian surrounded Huang Qi of the Qiujia race and Huang Qi of the zombie race, but they did not have an absolute advantage. They were even forced into a disadvantageous position by the 2 demon emperors who came prepared. Looking at the scholarly cultivator Xiaohua, the green-robed Xiaohua, and the demon spirit Xiaohua who attacked first, they were also in a passive position. Their opponent was Demon Emperor Qi of the Mayfly race. Earlier, Demon Emperor Qi was injured by Xiaohua's demonic saber, and now that he saw the demon spirit Xiaohua flying into the sky and transforming into a huge demonic body, he could not help but be shocked. Of course, facing demon spirit Xiaohua whose demonic body was clearly weaker than his, Demon Emperor Qi had an innate feeling of superiority. He waved his demonic spear and urged his wings to break through the void. The black qi mixed with the bloody light enveloped the void. It enveloped the scholarly cultivator Xiaohua. Chapter 4168. Seeing such devilish energy, Confucian cultivator Xiaohua sneered and opened his mouth. Woo! 5-colored sword light soared into the sky, and his right hand flashed with the aura of the 3 flowers as he raised his hand. Buzz buzz! The sword light condensed in Confucian cultivator Xiaohua's hand, and then Confucian cultivator Xiaohua fiercely waved it. Swoosh! The sword light flashed, and the all-encompassing black energy and bloody light were split in half by this glaring sword light. Moreover, the awe-inspiring energy within the sword light did not stop. It surged in all directions, and wherever it went, all the demonic energy and blood-red light turned into green smoke and disappeared. Ga. At this time, Devil Emperor Qi was not as shocked as when he was injured by the devil blade. He spread his wings again, and the bone dragon spear in his devil arm flashed with a pitch-black brilliance. With a hoarse dragon roar, bloody light gushed out of the devil arm, and the bone dragon spear soared into the sky. Like several huge dragons, the white bones were like waves, and the indescribable dragon energy was like lightning, fiercely stabbing towards Confucian cultivator Xiaohua. Dragon, no matter in which realm, was synonymous with a kind of powerhouse. Hidden Immortal Continent was like this, and Moon God Realm was also like this. Even if it was the bones of a fallen dragon, when used at this time, it would make the powerhouses of the 3 realms bow their heads. The indescribable aura of the bone dragon forced the distant dragon vein Xiaohua to tremble all over. Clearly, this aura was of a higher level than the dragon domain. Not only that, the tip of the bone dragon spear was a dragon horn with 3 bodies and 1 dragon bone. There was a dot of pitch black on it, and it seemed to give off a fluctuation that did not exist in the moon god realm. Any light that fell into this spear tip would not be able to escape. Almost silently, the bone dragon spear passed through space, and instantly stabbed towards Confucian cultivator Xiaohua's face. The blood-red devil patterns also annihilated the righteous energy that filled the sky at the same time. Confucian cultivator Xiaohua was shocked, and the flying sword in his hand hurriedly slashed back. Just as the golden light streaked across the sky and was about to fall on the devil's spear suddenly trembled, and the entire bone dragon strangely shrank back. With a loud dang, the dragon horn actually touched Confucian cultivator Xiaohua's flying sword. It had to be said that Devil Emperor Qi's fighting prowess far surpassed that of Confucian cultivator Xiaohua. The timing of this spear strike was incomparably precise. Soul cultivator Xiaohua's flying sword was completely incapable of withstanding the devil spear's attack. A boom rang out, and the flying sword shattered into tiny fragments that floated down into the air. Immediately after, the bone dragon spear displayed its might once more. It passed by the flying sword shattering firefly, and suddenly pierced into the face of the Confucian cultivator Xiaohua. Even someone as strong as the scholarly cultivator Xiao Hua had fear in his eyes when he faced the remnant might of the nameless ancient bone dragon. That awe-inspiring and fearless aura had already disappeared in the face of strength. Puff! At this critical moment, Confucian cultivator Xiao Hua opened his mouth and 9 small cauldrons flew out with a rumbling sound. A vast aura of destiny that seemed to be the prosperity of the entire human race appeared and blocked in front of the dragon's spear. In just a short moment, the tip of the dragon's spear emitted a black light that could destroy Providence. Once again, it broke through the 9 cauldrons' encirclement. Swish! The 9 cauldrons barely gave Confucian cultivator Xiao Hua a chance to survive. At this moment, the faint sound of a blade's edge resounded. The black light that swept through the entire horizon struck towards Devil Emperor Qi's back at lightning speed. Devil Spirit Xiao Hua, who had been accumulating power all this time, had finally made his move. Devil Blade murder was indeed extraordinary. Wherever the blade light passed, the entire space seemed to be split into 2 halves. An aura that was even more bloody than the demonic array swept out. Haha! Devil Emperor Qi seemed to have been waiting for Devil Spirit Xiao Hua to make his move. Seeing the devil blade coming towards him, he laughed heartily. The devil spear in his hand suddenly paused, and the tail of the spear swept out like a dragon's tail. Several huge bone dragon phantoms emerged from the tail of the spear and blocked the devil blade like a peacock spreading its tail. Puff puff puff. Without any suspense, the several phantoms were instantly split into 2 halves by the devil blade. However, at the same time that the devil blade broke the devil spear, the white bones of the bone dragon phantoms actually blocked the devil blade's blade. Woo! At the same time that the devil blade was stuck, Devil Emperor Qi's devil body flapped its wings. The devil spear actually borrowed the power of the devil blade and suddenly turned around. The tip of the spear that was previously thrusting towards Confucian cultivator Xiao Hua strangely twisted and reversed, piercing through the void towards Devil Spirit Xiao Hua's arm that was holding the devil blade. Seeing that the devil spear was mixed with a powerful draconic aura, enveloping the space within several hundred li, Devil Spirit Xiao Hua also turned his blade, and a surge of devil energy mixed with devil flames rushed towards the devil spear. However, Devil Emperor Qi had already been calculating. Seeing Devil Spirit Xiao Hua's devil blade coming towards him, he simply didn't dodge. The devil spear's momentum didn't stop. Kung! With a loud sound, the 2 devil weapons collided. In the area where Devil Emperor Qi was located, devil energy gushed out like a flood. The incomparably sharp draconic aura was actually split into 2 halves by devil blade murder. On the white bone dragon spear, half of the bone dragon's spine was also cut off. Devil blade murder, devil blade murder. Devil Emperor Qi didn't seem to be flustered by the fact that his devil spear was damaged. His mouth muttered, and his entire body suddenly swooped down. The devil horn on his forehead emitted a strange fluctuation, enveloping Devil Spirit Xiao Hua. Devil Emperor Qi came from the devil world. But this devil world wasn't the devil world that Zhang Qingxiao mentioned. Devil Emperor Qi's origin was naturally much higher than Devil Spirit Xiao Hua's. The fluctuation emitted by Devil Emperor Qi's devil horn was like the pressure of a Taoist cultivator. The moment it was released, it immediately forced Devil Spirit Xiao Hua's entire body to tremble. Even his 10,000 zhang tall devil body showed signs of collapsing under the fluctuation. Roar! Devil Spirit Xiao Hua was also very tenacious. After reaching this realm, he roared, and a bloody light surged around his body. The blood-dripping paradise tenaciously overflowed on the surface of his body. That devil blade also recklessly chopped towards Devil Emperor Qi, looking at Devil Spirit Xiao Hua, who was almost on the verge of death. Devil Emperor Qi swept a glance at Xiao Hua, who was still standing in the distance, and not in a hurry to make a move. His devil wings suddenly fluttered, and his figure transcended space. In an instant, he rushed in front of Devil Spirit Xiao Hua, completely ignoring the fact that the devil blade was chopping towards his back. Clearly, Devil Emperor Qi intended to give up some of his devil body to obtain the devil blade murder. However, at this moment the green-robed Xiao Hua, who had not made a move until now, suddenly formed a hand seal with both hands. Several seals that had been accumulating power for a long time suddenly struck the void. Several chi-thick crystal lights crazily rushed in and instantly disappeared. Looking at the location of Devil Emperor Chi's devil horn, Kacha, a sound similar to a mirror shattering rang out. The several hundred li of space around Devil Spirit Xiaohua shattered in a few breaths of time. Devil Spirit Xiaohua's devil body also turned into hundreds of millions of fragments. This, Devil Emperor Qi was shocked. He looked at the shattered space with some disbelief. He looked at the fragments of Devil Spirit Xiaohua that were overflowing with Devil Qi, and even the fragments of the Devil Blade. Just as Devil Emperor Qi was stunned, above his head, a five-colored light beam suddenly fell down. It was the invisible nascent soul that was holding the Kunlun mirror. The appearance of this Kunlun mirror's light beam was too strange. Devil Emperor Qi did not notice it at all. Boom! A loud sound rang out. Thousands of Devil Qi and Devil Flames dissipated in the light beam, and a huge vortex was born under the light beam. The light beam directly penetrated Devil Emperor Qi's devil armor, hit the devil heart, and penetrated Devil Emperor Qi's devil body. Ewo! Devil Emperor Qi cried out in pain. The devil spear in his hand suddenly rose up, like a dragon in the sky, piercing towards the light beam. Ha ha ha! Xiaohua's voice came from the invisible nascent soul. Immediately, the light beam disappeared, and the invisible nascent soul had teleported into Xiaohua's body that was standing in mid-air. Xiaohua's figure began to move. Damn it, damn it! Devil Emperor Qi seemed to understand something, and looked at Xiaohua with extreme resentment. However, before he could withdraw his devil spear, whoosh! Another golden light flashed in mid-air. The Tung Jiao shears flew out from the green-robed Xiaohua's hand and cut one of Devil Emperor Qi's devil wings. Ka ka ka. A series of crisp sounds rang out. Thousands of white bone fragments flew out from the devil wings, and countless Devil Qi scattered in mid-air. Ewo! Devil Emperor Qi cried out. He always thought that he had the pearl of wisdom in his hand, and that his calculations were very appropriate. However, he began to ignore Xiaohua's scheming and underestimated Xiaohua's courage. Only now did he understand that from the beginning, he was the first person that Xiaohua wanted to kill. It was also when Devil Emperor Qi was regretting that Devil Spirit Xiaohua's figure appeared beside green-robed Xiaohua like a light shadow. The luck and fear on his face did not seem to be fake. Green-robed Xiaohua had been comprehending cultivation techniques on the Shenhua continent, and he knew many secret techniques. When he saw that Devil Spirit Xiaohua was in danger, he used the Shadow Shift secret technique to save Devil Spirit Xiaohua from Devil Emperor Qi's attack. At the same time, it created an opportunity for the formless nascent soul to attack. Kill! Before Devil Spirit Xiaohua could say anything, green-robed Xiaohua shouted coldly and raised the Tung Jiao shears again, swinging the dragon tail and pouncing towards Devil Emperor Qi. Devil Spirit Xiaohua was even more obedient and did not think about anything. He waved his left hand, and the devil saber was raised again. Together with the Tung Jiao shears, he slashed towards Devil Emperor Qi. As for Confucian cultivator Xiaohua, who was injured by Devil Emperor Qi, he pointed his finger at the 9 cauldrons. The 9 cauldrons appeared again, and their brilliance and true Qi merged into one. It was like a huge hidden immortal continent, and it pounced towards Devil Emperor Qi. Cha-cha-cha. When Devil Emperor Qi was about to deal with it, a thunderous sound came from below him. Devil Emperor Qi looked down and saw Xiaohua transforming into a 10,000 feet long golden body, stepping on lightning and pouncing towards him. Devil Emperor Qi's soul flew out of the sky, and he desperately waved his devil spear. At the same time, the devil world on his forehead emitted a powerful fluctuation. He suddenly retreated and even roared, "Brother Devil, save me!" Along with Devil Emperor Qi's shout, the devil array above everyone's head let out a huge roar, and a series of devil pillars suddenly appeared around Devil Emperor Qi. It seemed to be preventing Xiaohua's doppelgangers from attacking Devil Emperor Qi. However, before the devil pillars were completely formed, Xiaohua, who was flying towards Devil Emperor Qi, suddenly swayed and strangely disappeared. A moment later, he reappeared beside Devil Emperor Qi. At this time, Devil Emperor Qi was injured by soul cultivator Xiaohua. His golden claws cracked Sun Jian's three-pointed double-edged sword. Phoenix body Xiaohua desperately used his wings, which were flashing with nebulous scales, to block the attack. The golden-winged Great Peng's wings grabbed Devil Emperor Qi's chest with his phoenix claws. Behind Phoenix body Xiaohua, Yun Che of the Shindao sect and Lu Wuxia of the Misty School had arrived before Xiaohua. Each of them activated their magical treasures and attacked Devil Emperor Qi from the left and right sides. Chapter 4169. Of course, other than Xiaohua's avatars, Yun Che and Lu Wuxia had also released their primordial spirit Dharma idols. However, their offensive power was still inferior to Xiaohua's. Other than being able to protect Xiaohua's primordial spirit Dharma idols, they were unable to cause any real damage to the Devil Emperor. But even so, the Devil Emperor Qi's body was riddled with wounds under the combined attack of the five. Many parts of his body were already broken, and pitch-black lightning flickered inside his body. Xiaohua appeared beside the Demon Emperor Qiong, and without any hesitation, he waved his hand and shot out the Soul Execution Vital Light. Boom! A small cluster of Soul Execution Vital Light soared into the sky, and under the control of Xiaohua's divine sense, it turned into a sky full of light threads that fell towards the bones of the golden-winged Great Peng. As it turned out, Xiaohua's real target was Devil Emperor Qi. This was the Devil Emperor, who had placed his body in the golden-winged Great Rock. In Xiaohua's eyes, both Devil Emperor Qi and Devil Emperor Qi had refined their own bodies. Even if he gave it his all, he wouldn't be able to destroy their bodies. Although Devil Emperor Qian's golden-winged Great Peng was strong, it wasn't refined by Devil Emperor Qian himself. Under the assault of the spirit-slaying light, Devil Emperor Qian was bound to be destroyed. Without the Deva White Bones, Devil Emperor Qian would be easily killed by Soul Cultivator Xiaohua. If he killed Devil Emperor Qi first, then focused on the other two Devil Emperors, he should have a higher chance of success. That was Xiaohua's plan. Right now, Devil Emperor Qi was surrounded by Lu Wuxia, Yun Che, Phoenix Body Xiaohua, Soul Cultivator Xiaohua, and Sun Jian. Therefore, Xiaohua immediately abandoned Devil Emperor Qi and tried to kill Devil Emperor Qi before another unknown Devil Emperor appeared. The development of the battle was just as Xiaohua had predicted. Yun Che's artifact was like a blade, blocking one side of the Devil Emperor Jiao's body. Lu Wuxia's artifact had sprouted green vines and flowers to bind the other side of the Devil Emperor Jiao. Xiaohua, on the other hand, had used her demonic body to trap the Devil Emperor Jiao. Xiaohua's spirit-slaying vital light flew out and destroyed the golden-winged Great Peng's bone body one by one. However, just as the spirit-exterminating vital light was about to descend, a sudden change occurred. 30% of the spirit-exterminating vital light suddenly changed direction and flew towards a spot above the demonic formation, where the blood-red light was surging. Even the remaining 70% of the spirit-exterminating vital light changed direction. Damn it! Seeing that, Xiaohua immediately understood that the inside of the demonic array was the wood-water origin magnetic field that he had seen earlier. It must be the Devil Emperor, who had used it to interfere with his execution spirit Yuan light. He cursed angrily and rubbed his hands together, causing numerous crystal lights to fall into the sword gourd. Woo-woo! The sword gourd let out a rumbling sound. The 70% spirit-slaying vital light shone faintly and got rid of the interference of the wood and water elemental magnetic field. It accelerated its descent. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The Devil Emperor Qi seemed to understand the predicament he was in. He flapped his bony wings and easily knocked Lu Wuxia and Yun Che back. At the same time, black lightning crackled from every joint on his body as he tried to destroy the soul-slaying origin light. However, before the devilish lightning could strike, Xiaohua's three corpses in lightning appeared in his god and ghost body and blocked the devilish lightning. At the same time, Sun Jian's three-pointed double-edged saber swung out again. Sun Jian circulated the true energy in his body, as if his life depended on it. The majestic pillar of true energy fell around the golden-winged Great Peng like a hurricane, blowing away the layers of devilish energy and killing the devils one after another. Just as the Devil Emperor Qi was about to panic, he flapped his bony wings and tried to summon more lightning and devilish energy. The Spirit Execution Vital Light took the opportunity to fall. Tens of thousands of tiny sounds rang out as the Spirit Execution Vital Light pierced through the devilish energy, devilish flames, and lightning like needles and landed on every joint of the golden-winged Great Pung. Boom, boom, boom. Like firecrackers in the mortal world, the bones of the Devil Emperor exploded one after another. Every bone in the Devil Emperor's body was punctured by pitch-black devilish lightning. Earlier, the Devil Emperor had single-handedly blocked the combined attacks of Xiaohua, and Sun Jian, but now, the combined might of Lu Wuxia, Yun Che, and Xiaohua had finally destroyed his body. Without any protection, the Devil Emperor's soul-like body was finally able to face everyone for the first time. Boom, boom, boom. It was also at this moment that flames shot up into the sky from the Realm Protection Great Array not far away. Within the flames, Dao Transformation Realm human clan cultivators rushed over. They each activated their Dharma treasures and began to form a formation, preparing to attack the two demon emperors. Good. Seeing that reinforcements had arrived, Xiaohua knew that even if another Devil Emperor appeared, it wouldn't be a match for them. The dawn of victory for the human race had arrived, and Xiaohua couldn't help but feel relieved. He raised his hand and put away the sword gourd. The soul cultivator Xiaohua chanted green seal scriptures again, and a soul sword quickly took shape as he prepared to kill the Devil Emperor Qi. When Lu Wuxia and Yun Che saw that the Devil Emperor Qi's body had appeared, they were similarly delighted. They activated their magic treasures and attacked from two sides. However, right at that moment, a burst of laughter rang out. The demonic pillars that had previously appeared around Demon Emperor Kuang suddenly appeared around Demon Emperor Kuang. Immediately, Xiaohua felt a heavy pressure above his head. The originally pitch-black demonic array suddenly fell down. Boom! A wave of demonic light, along with thousands of light shadows, broke free from the demonic array and rushed into Demon Emperor Kuang's body. Bzzz. As soon as the devilish light entered the Devil Emperor Qi's body, it immediately let out a deafening rumble. The Devil Emperor Qi's body rapidly expanded like a bubble, and an indescribable aura emanated from it. This aura was completely different from the aura of the golden-winged Great Pung, and the Devil Emperor Qi it was cold, cruel, and desolate. The Devil Emperor Qi's body expanded to tens of thousands of meters tall. It grew an oval head, a pair of curved eyes, a huge nose and a huge curved mouth. The upper body of the Devil Emperor Qi was like a water bucket, and the lower body of the Devil Emperor Qi was like two thick legs with strange devilish patterns on them. Xiaohua was completely dizzy. He knew that there was another Devil Emperor in the devilish formation that the Devil Emperor Qi called Brother Devil. But he didn't expect that this Devil Emperor would directly take over the Devil Emperor Qi's body, and even take on the appearance of a human. However, at this moment, above Xiaohua's head, within the enormous devilish formation that completely covered the Realm Guardian formation of the ruins, countless ripples passed through the void, and into the Devil Emperor Qi's body. The Devil Emperor Qi's body once again emitted a powerful devilish sense that could annihilate everything in the space with a flick of his finger. This devilish sense was so familiar that Xiaohua's face instantly paled. Xiaohua looked at the Devil Emperor Qi and the Devil Emperor Qi in disbelief. The two Devil Emperors were no longer panicking, even if they were facing Xiaohua's many clones. Even if the human cultivators of the ruins had already formed a formation and were ready to kill them. Xiaohua understood something, and the devil spirit Xiaohua also understood something. At this moment, the devil spirit Xiaohua, who raised the devil blade murder, no longer dared to wave it arrogantly. He only looked at the Devil Emperor in human form, and the devilish formation that was like a dark cloud. In the entire space, only he knew who had taken over the Devil Emperor Qi's body at the first moment. The devil spirit of the devil formation. Xiaohua took a deep breath. Although he was somewhat afraid, he still sent a sound transmission. What? The devil spirit of the devil formation? Yun Che heard Xiaohua's sound transmission, and almost cried out in shock. He also looked at the devilish formation that had sealed the ruins for hundreds of years above his head in disbelief. Such a terrifying devil had given birth to a devil spirit. In the entire ruins, or even the entire moon god realm, who could be its opponent? That's right, it's the devil spirit of the devil formation. Xiaohua replied indifferently. We were still fooled. These three great devil emperors, MN. Or it could be said that only these three great devil emperors were besieging the ruins. The other 20-something devil emperors were all disguised by these three devil emperors. This devil spirit of the devil formation is their last resort. If the golden-winged Great Peng's devilish body is unable to defeat us, the devil spirit of the devil formation will escape from the devilish formation, transform into human form, and directly kill us. Yun Che's face was pale, and he said with a trembling voice, this kind of devil, no one in the ruins is its opponent. If these devil emperors wanted to, I'm afraid that they would have already captured the ruins. As for why they only revealed their methods now, this is not something that this Xiao can know. While Xiaohua was speaking, the devil spirit of the devil formation raised its hand and waved. Its fat arm crossed countless space, and hit the dozen or so human cultivators who had just gathered into a formation with a single punch. Facing the power of the devil formation, half of the magical treasures of the dozen or so human cultivators turned into powder, and the other half of the cultivators were sent flying like withered leaves. Furthermore, the devil spirit of the devil formation even casually waved its hand and swatted the 9 continents cauldrons down from the sky like it was swatting away flies. The magic power of the human race, the luck of the human race, and the magical treasures of the human race were basically nothing in front of the devil formation that was enough to surround the entire ruins. There was no one who understood the strength of the devil spirit of the devil formation more than Xiaohua. Even though this guy was constantly trembling, he was still prepared to fly up. The devil blade murder, which was possibly the only thing that could restrain the devil spirit of the devil formation, was already ready to make a move. However, just as Xiaohua was about to risk his life for a strike, he suddenly stopped and looked at the distant Xiaohua in disbelief. Xiaohua's gaze swept over him, and he nodded slightly. Demonic spirit Xiaohua didn't dare to go against Xiaohua's wishes. His entire demonic body slowly shrunk as he teleported to Xiaohua's side. Then, Xiaohua waved his big sleeve and gave him something. Demonic spirit Xiaohua thoughtfully stood outside the battle and silently watched everything. At the same time that the devil spirit of the devil formation knocked down the 9 continents cauldrons, its body flew towards Phoenix body Xiaohua and Sun Jian. Just as the two of them were about to move, the devil spirit of the devil formation waved its fat hand again impatiently. Phoenix body Xiaohua's star moon armor was torn apart like paper, and his entire phoenix body was sent flying. Sun Jian couldn't even hold onto his 3-pointed, double-edged sword, and his body also fell into the flames of the realm-protecting great formation. It seemed that the moment the devil spirit of the devil formation appeared, all the battles had already ended. Moreover, the devil spirit of the devil formation raised its hand and grabbed, and the flames within 1,000 li of the realm-protecting great formation soared into the sky. All the formations and restrictions simply couldn't resist the devil spirit of the devil formation, who had a clear understanding of formations. The realm-protecting great formation was about to be torn apart. Chapter 4170. This war that the 3 great demon emperors had been planning for God knows how many years, now had a huge variable. And this variable was naturally Xiaohua. However, Xiaohua did not directly participate in the war at this time. Instead, he hid in a corner of the realm-protecting great array, trying his best to replenish his essence while narrowing his eyes to observe the situation of the entire war. Xiaohua was not a talented commander, so it was not realistic for him to lead the war. However, he was a talented general who could find flaws in the war and find out the intentions of the demon race. The 2 demon emperors are currently leading the demon monarchs and other demons to fight against the human army. Although it looks like they are in a stalemate, in reality, the demon emperors have the advantage. They have a lot of demons, and using the demon formation to teleport demons is also extremely fast. The two demon emperors can pin down this Xiao's doppelganger, while the other demon monarchs can kill the human cultivators. On the contrary, the human race has to protect the ruins, so they don't dare to relax at any place in the entire realm protecting Great Array, even if they know that this place is the main point of the demon race's attack. However, the demon race has used the diversionary tactic too many times, so no one dares to give up on the defense of other places. In other words, the demon race actually has a huge advantage. As long as the two demon emperors are willing, they can let their demon monarchs defeat the humans, while the demon formation's demon spirit is pinning down the celestials. Xiaohua secretly pondered. Of course, this kind of victory cannot affect the overall situation. The most important thing is that the demon formation's demon spirit has to defeat the celestials. However, the strange thing is that the strength that the demon formation's demon spirit displayed earlier is not inferior to the celestials. Moreover, the celestials are too violent. Bones honing Xiaohua is currently trying his best to control them. If the demon formation's demon spirit has the intention, although it can't easily defeat the celestials, it can easily suppress them. Could it be that the demon formation's demon spirit has seen through the peculiarity and is waiting for the celestials to lose control? And at that time, if the Xiao is afraid that the celestials will kill both the human race and the demon race, I can only put the celestials into the space. Even at that time, whether this Xiao can control the celestials or not is still another matter. Damn it, how can this demon race be so cunning? They are 100 times more cunning than the dragon race on Dragon Island. It's just... Xiaohua was puzzled again. How does the demon formation's demon spirit know that Bones honing Xiaohua is unable to control the celestials? Can he see it from the surface? Yes, I understand. Xiaohua's mind spun rapidly. Looking at the enormous devil formation devil spirit, he suddenly understood something and exclaimed in a low voice. Bone tempering Xiaohua used this Xiao's doppelganger to fall into the celestial's white bones, unable to control the celestial. If that was the case, even if the demon spirit of the demon array fell into the demon emperor's body, it wouldn't last for long. Demon Emperor Qiong's demon body was similar to his Yuan Shun. He had always occupied the body of others, but if he occupied the bones of the celestial being, he might be stronger than Xiaohua. But now the situation was reversed. It was the demonic array's demonic spirit that had taken over Demon Emperor Qiong's demonic body. What kind of existence was the demonic array's demonic spirit? That was an existence that had trapped the Great Barrier Formation of the ruins for hundreds of years, and could control all the devils that entered and exited the Great Barrier Formation. How could the Demon Emperor's body contain this demon spirit? Perhaps the Devil Array's devil spirit was now in the same predicament as the bone honing Xiaohua. Whoever can last until the end will be the winner. After saying that, Xiaohua hurriedly transmitted this situation to the bone honing Xiaohua, encouraging him to persevere. Hearing this, the bone honing Xiaohua's spirit was greatly shaken. The three heads of the celestial each spouted out a different colored light. At the same time, the 6 arms also danced, either tearing the void, holding thunderbolts, or smashing out thunderballs, launching another round of crazy attacks. At the same time, the red light in the celestial's eyes became even more dazzling. Woo! The body of the demonic array's devil spirit involuntarily swelled up. The demonic arms drew circles in the air, and waves of demonic energy whistled in the air like a whirlpool. There were traces of demonic patterns in the whirlpool, and pitch-black lightning flashed in the demonic patterns. Boom boom boom. An earth-shattering sound rang out again. The light of the celestial not only destroyed the whirlpool, but also fell on the body of the demonic array's devil spirit. Even the thunderballs and thunderbolts also destroyed the demonic energy of the demonic array's devil spirit. Under the powerful attack of the celestial, the body of the demonic array's devil spirit fell into the flames of the Great Barrier Formation. Good. Xiaohua smiled to the point that even his eyes were narrowed, and he almost clapped his hands. With the celestial's white bones as his trump card, he could move unhindered in the ruins, move unhindered in the moon god realm. What was there to be afraid of? However, at this moment, the location of the demonic pillars that were originally obliterated by the celestials suddenly rumbled. Following that, tens of thousands of white bones burning with black flames swarmed out like bamboo rafts in a river. Behind every white bone was a wisp of pitch-black demonic energy. These white bones were covered with demonic patterns, and they were extremely fast. The moment they appeared, they immediately fell into the flames of the Great Barrier Formation, not giving the Celestial any time to react. When the Celestial saw this, he couldn't help but become furious. The multicolored light in his mouth once again spouted towards the white bones. Puff puff. Amidst the continuous sounds, there was the sound of water splashing. Tens of thousands of white bones rushed to the side of the fat body of the demonic erased devil spirit, and the multicolored light of the celestial also fell into the flames. Wherever the multicolored light was, the white bones broke inch by inch, and the scarlet flames were extinguished even more. Not good. Xiaohua was an array master. Seeing that the traces of the white bones were somewhat strange, it seemed to be a kind of array, he was immediately shocked and shouted, "Quick, bone-tempering fellow Taoist." Just as Xiaohua shouted here, clang. There was a burst of golden sound, but at the Great Barrier Formation, a large grayish-white color emerged, like the psoriasis on the body of the secular world. It looked extremely disgusting. Following that, the previously sickly demonic erased devil spirit suddenly became lively. That chubby body seemed to break out of thin air. The arms, legs, and other places connected spurted out thick rings of demonic energy. These rings of demonic energy rotated rapidly, bringing the various demonic bodies of the demonic erased devil spirit, and those places were where many of the previous demonic bones fell. Damn it! Bone-tempering Xiaohua tried his best to resist the waves of impulses coming from the celestial white bones. But Xiaohua's vigilance also came to his mind. He cursed angrily, urging the celestial white bones to pounce on the demonic erased devil spirit, and the multicolored light in his mouth spurted out like a flood. Don't! Xiaohua seemed to understand the demonic erased devil spirit's plan, and hurriedly ordered bone-tempering Xiaohua. Unfortunately, he was still too late. Just as the multicolored light spurted out, the body of the demonic erased devil spirit emitted a terrifying fluctuation. Waves of pitch-black thunderbolts mixed with demonic flames were born from the large grayish-white area of the Great Barrier Formation. Following that, the body of the demonic erased devil spirit soared into the sky, and behind him, a large expanse of flames was lifted up. At this moment, the Celestial's attack came again. But this attack was strangely dodged by the demonic erased devil spirit. That flood of multicolored light hit the flames that were lifted up, and the restrictions and other things that the demonic erased devil spirit couldn't remove were all destroyed by the multicolored light of the celestial. Following that, a large amount of heaven and earth origin chi gushed out from the Great Barrier Formation, and the Great Barrier Formation finally had a huge crack. Although there were some flaws in the previous Great Realm Protection Formation, and the devil spirit of the Devil Formation could use these flaws to send the devil race into the ruins, the entire Great Realm Protection Formation was complete. Furthermore, the Great Realm Protection Formation could also repair some of its flaws. Now it was different. In the Crimson-Red battle, the area of several hundred li was torn apart. Although it wasn't much in the huge fire array, the Great Barrier Formation was no longer complete. Especially under the control of the demonic erased devil spirit, the pitch-black demonic flames and thunderbolts crazily controlled this flaw and spread to other places. Boom! Before Xiaohua could say anything, a demonic pillar that pierced through the entire space fell down from the demonic array above everyone's head, completely covering the Great Barrier Formation's flaw. The entire Great Barrier Formation violently shook under this demonic pillar, and it was like a dagger stabbing into an ordinary person's body. Roar! The Celestial was also furious. He raised his head and let out a long roar, and multicolored light spurted out from his three heads again. Boom! The multicolored light rolled back, and the entire demonic pillar collapsed. The Great Barrier Formation revealed itself again. But in just a moment, the flaw expanded by more than 10 li again, and the speed of the formation's collapse was also increasing. Whoosh! The demonic pillar had just turned into demonic chi and dissipated, and there was another sharp whistling sound of wind. In the midst of the demonic chi, the huge demonic body of the demonic erased devil spirit suddenly appeared. Its fat arms waved, and its fist smashed into the celestial's face. The celestial was caught off guard, and was actually sent flying. Damn it! Xiaohua was very anxious in his heart. Inside the demonic chi is the domain of the demonic erased devil spirit. He pretended to be weak for so long, and his purpose was to tear the Great Barrier Formation apart. Now that the Great Barrier Formation has been broken, this guy will definitely use a heavy hand. This Xiao can only see how to repair the Great Barrier Formation when the human cultivators are entangled with the Devil Emperor. Xiaohua's figure hurriedly teleported over, but the profound qi in his body had not recovered. His figure swayed, and a kind of feeling of bones and tendons numbness appeared. At this moment, the celestial roared again, and leaped into the air, pouncing towards the demonic erased devil spirit. The demonic erased devil spirit was not afraid. It opened its mouth and spat out a blood-red light that shattered the void and pounced towards the celestial. Behind the demonic erased devil spirit, boom! Another demonic pillar that reached the sky came crashing down once again. Ga. Just as the demonic pillar fell on the Great Barrier Formation, a burst of wild laughter came from the dark void. Xiaohua hurriedly looked up, and saw that the Devil Emperor Qi's figure had strangely appeared between the demonic pillars. Xiaohua was greatly alarmed. He once again looked towards where the scholarly cultivator Xiaohua was. Sure enough, there was still a Devil Emperor like the Devil Emperor Qi there, but the Devil Emperor's aura on that Devil Emperor's body was gradually fading away. Damn it! This is one of the Devil Emperor's divine abilities. Xiaohua suddenly understood. He recalled the situation when he first met the Devil Emperor. However, before the wild laughter of the Devil Emperor Qi disappeared, another angry, puzzled and surprised voice came from his mouth. How is this possible? Where are the blood spirits inside the Great Barrier Formation? Qi, how could you devour all the blood spirits? Chapter 4171. At this moment, Demon Emperor Qi's cold voice came from the mouth of the demonic formation's demonic spirit. You and I agreed to split it 50-50. How can I go back on my words? Besides, you came to the ruins first, and I came later. I should be the one asking you this, right? Demon Emperor Qi was at a loss for words. He said angrily. I entered the ruins first, but in order not to attract the attention of the humans in the ruins, and let those wandering souls be tainted with evil energy and dirty blood, I didn't devour those immature blood spirits. Moreover, when I left the ruins, these blood spirits were all perfectly fine within the Great Barrier Formation. Why are those blood spirits gone now that you've broken the formation? The matter of the blood spirits is the same as the matter of the demonic saber murder. I've never heard of it. Demon Emperor Qi's voice was still indifferent. Besides, you also saw that I was used by the demonic formation. Previously, I was just following the plan to break the ruins realm guardian formation. I didn't stay in the ruins for even a moment. Do you think I can devour tens of millions, or even hundreds of millions of blood spirits? Don't tell me you didn't know that there were demons refining demonic banners in the ruins before, right? But, Demon Emperor Qi was dumbfounded. They worked together with the demonic formation's demonic spirit to use the demonic world's supreme secret technique to isolate the ruins from the netherworld. They wanted to accumulate blood spirits in the ruins, but who would have thought that when it was time to harvest, these blood spirits actually disappeared? No one could accept this. At this moment, Demon Emperor Qi seemed to have thought of something, and hurriedly looked at Buddha Bodhi. However, looking at the Buddha light around Bodhi, Demon Emperor Qi still didn't understand. He didn't believe that Bodhi had a divine ability that surpassed the demonic formation's demonic spirit. Therefore, he unconsciously looked at Xiaohua again. Unfortunately, Xiaohua's face was innocent and still looked injured. Before Demon Emperor Qi could think more, Confucian cultivator Xiaohua had already activated his innate true energy to kill the Demon Emperor's clone. The group of cultivators moved their figures and surrounded Demon Emperor Qi again. Fellow Taoist, bone-honing Xiaohua's weak voice sounded in Xiaohua's mind. I can't hold on for long. The remnant consciousness in this celestial skeleton is too fierce. All right. Xiaohua nodded and instructed. Then lead the devil spirit of the devil array into the realm protection grand array. Before Xiaohua could finish speaking, a great change occurred within the space of the two formations. The devil spirit, who was fighting with the celestial, suddenly retreated. It raised its head and spat out another bolt of lightning. Woo! This time, it spat out a pitch-black thunderbolt that was dozens of feet long. This thunderbolt crossed the space of thousands of miles, and really landed on the devil formation above them. Rumble! The huge demonic array began to tremble. Demonic chi that spanned hundreds of miles came crashing down like a mountain. What are you doing? Xiaohua was a little stunned. Others might not know about this huge devil ball, but he was very clear about it. Previously, when he used the soul punishment essence light to kill the golden-winged great pungbone bird, it was this devil ball that sucked away 30% of the soul punishment essence light. Although the devil chi had isolated Xiaohua's perception, Xiaohua knew that the inside of this devil balloon was definitely the wood and water magnetism that he had seen before. However, he really did not understand why the devil clan would take this magnetism. Could it be that they want to use magnetism to break the realm-protecting great array? This is the only possibility. The devil spirit is afraid that it can't completely destroy the realm-protecting great array, so it wants to borrow the power of magnetism. Xiaohua was still pondering, but the devil emperor Qi did not give him a chance. The devil emperor spread its wings, waved the devil spear in its hand, and pounced on Xiaohua. Xiaohua was shocked. He urged his body to flee in the direction of the scholarly cultivator Xiaohua and the others. At the same time, the bone-tempering Xiaohua also hurriedly urged the celestial to sweep across the sky, wanting to rescue them. However, the devil emperor Qi was the devil emperor of the mayfly race, who was proficient in spatial escape. With a flap of its wings, it had already arrived in front of Xiaohua. Even the devil spear refined by the bone dragon had already pierced Xiaohua's back. Xiaohua hurriedly formed a seal, and a yellow shield appeared in front of the devil spear. Pa! The devil spear touched the shield, and countless fragments flew up with the wind. The devil spear turned into a bone dragon, and the dragon's horn showed a dizzy color. Xiaohua's back twisted strangely, swish. At this moment, a golden light flashed, like a thunderbolt, and chopped the devil emperor Qi's devil spear arm. Ka-ka! A series of crisp sounds rang out. The Tung Jiao shears revealed a domineering golden light, and the devil emperor's devil arm was immediately cut off by the Tung Jiao shears. The devil emperor Qi was stunned, because the Tung Jiao shears should be in the hands of the green-robed Xiaohua, and the latter was still some distance away. The devil emperor Qi did not even see the green-robed Xiaohua take out the Tung Jiao shears. However, after the devil emperor Qi recovered from his shock, he did not feel anything else. For a devil emperor, any part of his devil body could be regenerated, so there was no need to spend too much effort. However, the moment the devil emperor Qi's arm was regenerated, the scene in front of him made him go completely crazy, because in the instant he was stunned, the devil spear that no one was controlling in midair disappeared. It disappeared into thin air. There was no fluctuation of magic power, no sign of any omen. Roar! The devil emperor Qi roared. A pair of devil wings flapped, and devil Qi scattered into the void. Fluctuations spread all around Xiaohua, and thousands of white bones shot out, blocking Xiaohua's path. Ha ha ha! Xiaohua laughed. He waved his hand, and a circle of golden light flashed, and all the white bones were cut off by the Tung Jiao shears. Following his laughter, Xiaohua's figure teleported away. Confucian cultivator Xiaohua and the other clones broke through some of the restrictions of the devil formation and teleported around the devil emperor Qi. Even soul cultivator Xiaohua and Sun Jian came out from the other battles to deal with the devil emperor Qi at this point. How could the devil emperor Qi not know that he had fallen into Xiaohua's trap? From the beginning, The other party had taken a fancy to the devil's spear in his hand, which could contend against the devil's saber. He even flew out from the battle to deliver the devil's spear for himself. Aoao! The devil Emperor Qi roared several times, and Devil Qi soared into the sky. His wings flapped again, and his devil body teleported. However, what puzzled Xiaohua was that the devil Emperor Qi did not chase after him. Instead, he retreated and flew directly to the place where the wood and water origin magnetism fell. Then, the devil horn on the devil Emperor Qi's forehead frantically rushed out and landed on the devil pillar that was attacking the realm-protecting grand array. The devil pillar became more and more frantic under the fluctuations, and like a violent wave, it attacked the devil formation. Similarly, right after the devil pillar, the wood and water origin magnetism increased its speed and rushed into the flames of the realm-protecting grand array. Conspiracy? There must be a conspiracy here. Xiaohua stood in midair and did not have the slightest joy of getting the devil's spear. He screamed madly in his heart. I should have thought of something. But why can't I think of anything? The devil clan would definitely not use the wood and water origin magnetism for no reason. Besides, wasn't the realm-protecting grand array of the ruins already broken? Why do they still need the wood and water origin magnetism? If the devil Emperor Qi did not come to snatch the devil's spear, why did he fiddle with the origin magnetism? As the wood and water origin magnetism fell into the great array, the heavy devil Qi in the surroundings began to peel off, revealing the wood and water origin magnetism with devil veins inside. Xiaohua immediately sensed the blood essence he left inside. However, under the interference of the devil flame and devil Qi, Xiaohua's blood essence did not completely permeate the wood and water origin magnetism. Xiaohua's consciousness swept over, but it was still blocked by the devil Qi, and he could not absorb the wood and water origin magnetism into his space. Oh, just as Xiaohua's consciousness swept over with his divine sense, the devil Emperor Qi seemed to have sensed something. He suddenly turned his head, and his devil sense swept over madly. Surround the devil Emperor Qi. Xiaohua hurriedly ordered the Confucian cultivator Xiaohua and the other clones, and he prepared to rush under the realm-protecting grand array to take a look. After the Confucian cultivator Xiaohua and the other clones, there were also human cultivators of the ruins who chased after them. Even the devil Emperor Qi waved his devil hammer and smashed it towards the realm-protecting grand array. Xiaohua's thoughts were the same as the cultivators of the ruins. He did not want the battlefield to shift to the ruins, so he hurriedly teleported to the place where the realm-protecting grand array was torn apart. At this moment, the realm-protecting grand array, where the wood and water origin magnetism landed, suddenly emitted the sound of bubbling. In the midst of the dissipating flames, a gorgeous extreme magnetic origin light suddenly appeared. It was so beautiful in the crimson flames. The green and black extreme magnetic origin light were like blooming daisies, falling into the crimson flames one after another. However, this beauty was also cruel. The extreme magnetic origin light was like a sharp blade, cutting down the flames piece by piece. In just a few breaths, the realm-protecting grand array had spread more than 1,000 miles. Looking at the gorgeous origin light, and seeing the traces of devil Qi and scarlet blood light in the origin light, Xiaohua's heart gave birth to a strange feeling. He immediately thought of the day when he discovered the origin magnetic space in Yong'an Mountain. At that time, the origin magnetic field above the cliff was so beautiful and so austere. The fire and earth origin magnetic field in the origin magnetic field really moved Xiaohua. Not good. Thinking of this, Xiaohua suddenly understood something. There's a problem with the fire and earth origin magnetic field. This Xiao has already dripped my blood essence into it more than 10 years ago. According to the experience of the hidden immortal continent, my blood essence can already cover the fire and earth origin magnetic field. Let's not talk about the blood essence in the demonic array. There is demonic Qi in the magnetic field, but there is no demonic Qi in the magnetic field under the cliff. Why is it that when I flew over the southwest border several times, I didn't notice any movement in my blood essence? Could it be that the origin magnetic field was also tampered with by the devil race? If so, Then why did the devil race tamper with the two origin magnetic fields? While pondering, Xiaohua had already descended from the realm protecting Grand Array. At this moment, the wood and water origin magnetic field had already fallen into the air, and the ground was precisely where the cliff was located. The black and green extreme magnetic origin light of the wood and water origin magnetic field filled the entire space. It was even more beautiful than what Xiaohua saw before. However, when Xiaohua's divine sense swept over and saw everything that happened at the cliff, he unconsciously felt his soul fly out of his body. Chapter 4172. The space within several tens of thousands of li was filled with extreme magnetic rays. However, other than the black and green extreme magnetic rays of wood and water, the other two types of magnetic rays were also rapidly flashing in the space. These two types of magnetic rays were red and yellow, and were entangled with the black and green extreme magnetic rays. The red extreme magnetic rays collided with the black extreme magnetic rays, and the yellow extreme magnetic rays collided with the green extreme magnetic rays, bursting forth with powerful might. This might be powerful, but under the sharp extreme magnetic rays, it was slightly insufficient. The four extreme magnetic rays were nothing in the air, but once they landed on the ground where the broken cliff was, the entire ground was cut apart by the extreme magnetic rays. What was special was that the large pieces of land that were cut apart were fiercely pushed away under the might of the magnetic rays. Even though the earth attribute was the majority in the land, there were many things of the five elements. Under the innate rejection and cutting of the four types of magnetic rays, the land of the five elements all collapsed. It was as if there was an incomparably huge hand that was tearing this land apart and forcefully pulling the southwest border of the ruins away from the ruins. Ah, it can still be like this? This is the rhythm of completely tearing the ruins apart? Damn it, these devils are really too imaginative. Seeing this situation, how could Xiaohua not know the devil's plan other than being shocked? What was special was that the fire and earth magnetic rays that were previously buried under the broken cliff, under the push of the wood and water magnetic rays that the devil brought over, they dug deeper into the ground. Following the penetration of the magnetic rays, the collapsing southwest border continued to collapse and spread towards the center of the ruins. This spreading speed was extremely fast. Tens of thousands of li of land disappeared. Large pieces of rocks and soil rushed into the sky and floated in the air following the law of the extreme magnetic rays. If there was no method to collect these two magnetic rays, it would not take long before the entire ruins would be torn into pieces by the magnetic rays. The entire star would turn into dust in the star field. How could Xiaohua dare to be negligent? He hurriedly released his consciousness and wanted to collect the metal and wood magnetic rays into the space like before. It was a pity that the wood and water magnetic rays were incomparably heavy and could not be collected at all. What was special was that the extreme magnetic ray that was tainted with demonic energy was so sharp that even the Devil Emperor could not detect it. Xiaohua's attempt was fruitless, so he could only give up. Immediately after, Xiaohua took out the sword gourd with a flick of his hand. Under the urging of his magic power, the soul execution origin light transformed into a waterfall that charged into midair. Even though the soul execution origin light had some attractive force that drew away a portion of the extreme magnetic origin light, this portion of origin light was truly too little, and was utterly unable to have the effect of preventing the ruins from shattering. Moreover, Xiaohua continuously used the 3 corpses in lightning, 5 Qi righteous lightning, and 9 heavens divine lightning. When these lightning bolts fell into the origin magnetic field, they were all drawn away with all their might. Similarly, they were unable to stop anything. What should we do? Xiaohua was truly at his wit's end. Looking at the ground that was rapidly collapsing, his eyes turned rapidly. At this moment, the previously impregnable Great Barrier Array began to crumble just like the ruins. A huge amount of demonic qi was like a tidal wave, extinguishing the scarlet flames wherever it went. Blood rivers and demonic pillars descended from the sky, and countless devil clan members rushed out from the demonic qi, charging into the great array. The cultivators of the ruins had long been prepared when they saw the realm-protecting formation being broken. While organizing a formation to resist, they also issued orders to the nearby disciples to go over and face the enemy. Even though the devils rushed in crazily, the human cultivators at this time were all in the void refinement and Tao transformation realm. Except for some devil monarchs who could resist, the other devils were all turned into ashes by the cultivators' magic treasures. Xiaohua looked at the brilliance of the magic treasures on his left that soared into the sky, and listened to the endless rumbling sounds. But his mouth was abnormally bitter. Although his arrival in the ruins had added a lot of variables to the war between Taoists and devils, and he even thought that he could control the situation of the war just now, the cruel reality told him that any war was not a one-man game. No one could control the situation of the war at will, unless this person had strength that surpassed everything and could turn the clouds and rain with a flip of his hand. Obviously, the current Xiaohua was far from having such strength. Even if he was a heavenly being, he could not. However, just as Xiaohua was racking his brains to think, he suddenly discovered a strange phenomenon. The Devil Emperor Qi, who was abnormally ferocious before, was now activating his wings. Although he was besieged by the Soul Cultivator Xiaohua and the Confucian Cultivator Xiaohua, his devil consciousness was still exploring around him. He did not care about the earth that was torn apart by the two magnetic fields. On the contrary, the Devil Emperor Qi, who was silent before, activated his body at this time. While fighting with the Dragon Vein Xiaohua and Buddha Bodhi, he moved towards the magnetic field. As for the Devil Formation Devil Spirit, it seemed to have reached its limit. While fighting with the bone-honing Xiaohua, the power of its hands and feet was also reduced by 30%. Previously, the Devil Emperor Qi and the Devil Emperor Qi were the first to rush into the realm-protecting formation. Moreover, they also mentioned the Blood Spirit. Obviously, their target of besieging the ruins was those wandering souls. Now, this wandering soul has been taken away by this Xiao Mao. This made their plan fail. Even if they capture the ruins, I'm afraid they will not achieve their previous goal. However, they are still fighting here. Although it's because there are still humans in the ruins, the most important thing is the agreement with the Devil Emperor Qi. The three Devil Emperors must have their own plans. What is this Devil Emperor Qi's goal? Xiaohua thought to himself. Moreover, looking at his appearance, he is really looking for something. Moreover, this thing is inside the ruins. It's even at the southwest border. The southwest border is so broken. Clearly, there were humans or devils who used this method to search for it in the past. Or perhaps this human is related to the Shindao sect. Yun Che was right. The Divine Blade Clan and the Devil Emperor Qi were indeed looking for the same thing. This thing is enough to make the Devil Emperor of the Devil Realm jealous. However, this thing, what is it? The Tao sect's magic cannot find it. The Devil race's divine ability cannot find it, and can only rely on two magnetic fields to tear the earth apart to find it? Countless gravel and soil rushed into the sky. Similarly, the huge magnetic light rotated in the sky like a spiral. In the sky, the gorgeous aurora appeared again. Even more magnetic fields fell into the earth. Even more mountains, hills, and soil were crushed under the might of this heaven and earth. Xiaohua tried the power of the domain, and couldn't help but smile bitterly. He cursed in his heart. Damn it, these 5 elemental magnetic fields are really too abnormal. No wonder the 5 elemental wishful heaven-reaching staff needs to be used. Just as Xiaohua cursed, his body suddenly trembled. Boundless ecstasy appeared in his eyes. It was as if a hand was about to reach out from his throat. He couldn't help but slap his head and shout, "Damn it, I'm really stupid to the extreme." The reason why the 5 elemental wishful heaven-reaching staff can refine the 5 elemental magnetic fields together is because it uses the principle of the 5 elements engendering each other. Metal gives birth to water, water gives birth to wood, wood gives birth to fire, fire gives birth to earth, and earth gives birth to metal. By refining the magnetic fields of the 5 elemental magnetic fields together, it can create a magic weapon that doesn't entangle with any realm. And what the 3 great devil emperors are using today is also the principle of the 5 elements engendering each other. Metal restrains wood, wood restrains earth, earth restrains water, water restrains fire, and fire restrains metal. By combining these magnetic fields together, they can create a repulsive force that no one can stop, and then use this repulsive force to destroy the ruins? If I can use the principle of the 5 elements engendering each other, and use the method to refine the 5 elemental wishful heaven-reaching staff, won't I be able to stop this crazy magnetic light? While Xiaohua was thinking, his gaze quickly landed on the 2 magnetic fields. The majestic object in the sky was the wood and water magnetic field, and the magnetic field under the earth was the fire and earth magnetic field. If he wanted to use the principle of the 5 elements engendering each other, he would need the water and fire magnetic field, or the wood and earth magnetic field. Of course, it wasn't just the 5 elemental magnetic fields. He also needed the place where the 5 elemental magnetic fields were combined and refined by the innate mother. Xiaohua just happened to collect the water and fire magnetic fields under the Black Wind Ridge of the hidden immortal mainland. Moreover, there were innate fire jellyfish and innate fire jellyfish in his space. In other words, Xiaohua already had the conditions to subdue the 2 destructive magnetic fields. However, the magnetic light was so powerful now that Xiaohua couldn't get close to it. The domain and mind that he could rely on also couldn't get close to it. Moreover, the 3 great devil emperors were nearby. How could they allow him to collect these 2 magnetic fields? At this point, Xiaohua already didn't dare to think too much. The magnetic force's range was very wide, and now was just the beginning. It could only harm the surface of the earth. If after a period of time, the magnetic force would seep into the earth's core, or affect the stability of the ruins, not to mention the arrival of a star storm, even a gust of wind would be able to blow the ruins away, right? Fellow Taoists, Xiaohua decisively shouted, I have something to do. You all surround the 2 devil emperors, don't let them disturb I. Alright. Soul Cultivator Xiaohua, and the others sensed Xiaohua's intention. They all nodded and urged their magic power to attack the devil emperors, waiting for Xiaohua to cast his spell. Without waiting for Xiaohua to take out the water and fire magnetic fields from his space, the devil aura around Devil Emperor Qi's body suddenly flourished. Then he raised his hand and patted his head. Just like a Tao cultivator casting a spell, a blood light soared into the sky and fell down. It was precisely mixed with the wood and earth magnetic field's origin light. And in a moment, this blood light was like a layer of densely packed little worms, wriggling on the torn earth. Xiaohua knew that this was Devil Emperor Qi using the devil race's secret technique to search for something. He didn't hesitate at all. His mind entered the space and took out the water and fire magnetic fields. Boom! When his mind entered the space, a rumbling sound could be heard in the sky. Not only was the air compressed to the point that it gave birth to an explosive sound, even the unparalleled magnetic light was distorted by the pressure. The 3,650 mu in size of the water and fire magnetic fields, emitting red and black, appeared in front of the human race and devil race's eyes. Even the 3 great devil emperors were startled by the sudden appearance of this huge object. The moment the red fire polar magnetic rays and the black water polar magnetic rays appeared, they immediately changed their original directions and blended with the raging fire polar magnetic rays and water polar magnetic rays in the air. At the same time, the mutual restraint between the wood polar magnetic rays and the fire polar magnetic rays and the earth polar magnetic rays was greatly reduced. As a result, the torn land also slowed down. Chapter 4173. Aowo. Seeing this, Demon Emperor Qi roared and swung his demonic hammer. His demonic leg swept across, and even his silver-black demonic arm attacked the soul cultivator Xiaohua. He wanted to pounce on the water and fire magnetic field. Seeing this, the Taoist cultivators were overjoyed. Many of the cultivators who were fighting the demon monarch abandoned the demon monarch and flew over to stop Demon Emperor Qi. On the other hand, Demon Emperor Qi glanced at the water and fire magnetic field, and then looked at Xiaohua. He didn't do anything. Clearly, He wasn't interested in whether ruins was torn apart or not. However, just as they were about to block Devil Emperor Kwang let out a furious roar. His fat arm swung through the air for a moment, then suddenly pierced through the void, and appeared next to the water and fire magnets. Boom! The arm pierced through the magnets, and a seemingly corporeal pillar of devil chi slammed into the magnets. The magnetic field was more than 3,650 mu in size, but it was blasted away by Demon Emperor Chi. Of course, taking advantage of Demon Emperor Chi's distraction, bone-tempering Xiaohua stretched out his arm and hit Demon Emperor Chi's body. Pooh! Demon Emperor Chi's body was sent flying, and the demonic chi in front of his chest was pulled down by 100 feet. CSI. Demon Emperor Chi let out a sorrowful cry, as if he was heavily injured. His body trembled violently and showed signs of collapsing. Seeing this, bone-tempering Xiaohua was overjoyed. He flew forward and at the same time, his 6 arms fell into the void and attacked Devil Emperor Chi from all directions. Xiaohua didn't have time to care about other things. He quickly released his consciousness to control the water and fire magnetic field. However, his consciousness was cut into pieces by the magnetic light, and he felt a heart-wrenching pain. Xiaohua's figure trembled, and he gritted his teeth tightly as he tried his best to persist. Right at this moment, the Devil Emperor Chi suddenly let out a long howl towards the sky, and then its enormous body shrunk swiftly before it descended towards the ground. Crack! Crack! A rather choppy sound resounded from the devilish armor, and it was precisely the sound of the magnetic rays descending upon it. Demonic chi and indescribable demonic runes seeped out from the demonic armor. Although these demonic chi and runes were instantly shattered, they were regenerated in just a few breaths of time. The demonic armor had actually blocked the extreme magnetic origin ray that was capable of tearing apart one's mind. Seeing that the Devil Emperor Kuo was about to escape, the soul cultivator Xiaohua and the other cultivators were about to stop him. Xiaohua's heart trembled, and he hurriedly said, "Fellow Taoists, ignore him. Let him go and find something. Once he takes the thing, he will naturally not care about these 2 magnets. You all protect I. Don't let the other demons disturb us. I will store these 2 magnets into the space." Yes, Soul Cultivator Xiaohua and the other clones knew what Xiaohua was thinking. Right now, the first thing they wanted to do was to protect the safety of the ruins. Any treasure was nothing compared to the lives of the cultivators in the ruins. Everyone agreed and separated, protecting Xiaohua and Yuanmi together. Rise! Xiaohua clenched his teeth and released his domain to block the extreme magnetic origin ray for his mind. Then his mind wrapped around the water and fire magnets and pulled them towards the center of the 2 magnets. Boom! As the 3 magnets got closer and closer, the entire space rumbled. More and more extreme magnetic origin rays fused together, and the sound of the earth tearing began to weaken again. At this time, the Devil Emperor Kuo had already fallen to the ground. The demonic hammer in his hand fiercely smashed the ground. The originally solid ground seemed to have been hollowed out. Rumble! Pieces of the ground collapsed one after another. In just a moment, a 1,000-li wide abyss was created, and at this time, the demonic blood that the Devil Emperor Kuo had spat out earlier turned into bean-sized demons and flew towards the abyss. Swoosh! In the midst of the battle cries, a soft sound came from the abyss. It seemed to be heard by everyone's ears, but also seemed to be heard by everyone's heart. Then, a kind of faint fluctuation spread throughout the entire world. This is Xiaohua, who was doing his best to push the water and fire magnets, was also swept by this faint fluctuation. An extremely familiar feeling emerged from the bottom of his heart. Xiaohua involuntarily turned his head. However, there was no sign of where he turned his head. The origin of the fluctuation was still in the depths of the earth. This is the power of origin. Although Xiaohua didn't see it, the fluctuation of the power of origin had already penetrated deep into his space. He could clearly sense the fluctuation of the other power of origin. It's just that in this upper realm, the power of law has already weakened. The fluctuation of this power of origin is much stronger than the Dawn Rain continent and the hidden immortal continent. Xiaohua only glanced at it and hurriedly retracted his attention. He accelerated the fusion of the water and fire magnets into the other two magnets. As the water and fire magnets gradually penetrated deeper, the devastating magnetic force finally converged by a large margin. The destruction of the entire heaven and earth also gradually stopped. However, because the magnetic force had already destroyed the structure of the ruins ground, the collapse of the earth still didn't completely stop. Phew! Xiaohua heaved a sigh of relief. His gaze hurriedly looked towards Devil Emperor Qi and Devil Emperor Qi. Fortunately, Devil Emperor Qi was surrounded by a group of cultivators. Although there were more than 10 devil monarchs assisting him, he was clearly at a disadvantage and temporarily didn't have the energy to care about him. As for Devil Emperor Qi, he was still fighting with Bone Honing Xiaohua. The battle was still desperate and looked like it was going to tear the sky apart. Fellow Taoist. Sensing Xiaohua's gaze, Bone Honing Xiaohua hurriedly opened his mouth. I can't hold on for more than half a cup of tea. Now fellow Taoist needs to make a choice. Either let I withdraw and take in the celestial, or let the celestial's consciousness control I. No need. Xiaohua slightly smiled and said a few words in a low voice. Bone Honing Xiaohua was stunned. He raised his eyes to look at the chaotic valley in the distance. The red light flickering in his eyes clearly had a kind of disbelief. Bone Honing Xiaohua then fought and retreated, luring the devil spirit of the devil formation to fly towards that valley. The devil spirit of the devil formation didn't suspect anything and chased closely behind. Seeing Bone Honing Xiaohua leave, Xiaohua patted his forehead and opened his delirium destruction Dharma eye. He saw fine rays of various colors crisscrossing, and a wisp of emerald green brilliance slowly flew out from the depths of the earth like the rising sun. That brilliance was so dazzling that Xiaohua hurriedly closed his delirium destruction Dharma eye, not daring to look at it anymore. Origin of wood. Xiaohua sighed. Only this kind of origin item can provoke the judges of the netherworld and the devil emperor of the devil realm to take action. Only this kind of innate spiritual item that can't be detected by ordinary methods can be found by extreme methods like magnetic force. As the saying goes, a man's wealth is his own ruin. Now because of this origin item, the ruins that is as big as a planet is also being ravaged by the devil race. If it wasn't for me, the entire planet would have been torn apart. Xiaohua knew that now wasn't the time to snatch the origin of wood, so he didn't think about it anymore. He focused on keeping the three magnetic forces together. When the water and fire magnetic forces were gentle with the wood and water magnetic forces, and the fire and earth magnetic forces were mixed together, he waved his hand again. The innate fire jellyfish and the innate fire jellyfish fell into the air. As 2 drops of essence blood seeped into them, the 2 innate items were like 2 dancing butterflies, flying towards the place where the 3 magnetic forces came into contact with each other. Woo! Before the 2 innate items could get close to each other, the 2 polar sides of the 3 magnetic forces suddenly let out a strange wind whistling sound. The space dozens of miles to the left of the polar sides instantly collapsed. The collapsed space formed a strange ring, and one ring after another fell towards the 2 innate items. At the same time, waves of energy spread out from the collapsed space to all directions. Wherever the waves passed, countless heaven and earth yuan qi turned into threads of crystal light and fell into the void. Even more so, with the impact of the heaven and earth yuan qi, hurricanes were born in the range of thousands of miles. The 5 elements in the entire space actually showed signs of chaos. With the 5 elements in chaos, the group of human cultivators who were fighting also became a little chaotic. This was because although the magnetic force was weakened, the heaven and earth yuan qi was in chaos. Their magic power actually couldn't control the yuan qi, and their magic treasures and weapons also lost control. Even their brilliance dimmed. As for the devil race, they weren't too affected. They all roared and pounced towards the human race, and the entire battle situation actually changed greatly. At this moment, a dozen or so human cultivators suddenly cried out in surprise. Look, a phenomenon is descending from the sky. Following the direction of these cultivators' fingers, In the sky above the ruins, the outer layer of the huge demonic formation that surrounded it, and several huge rainbows were born. These rainbows were of 5 colors: red, black, green, white, and yellow, the 5 primary colors. At the end of these huge rainbows, there was a huge halo flashing. The shadows of the vermilion bird, black tortoise, azure dragon, white tiger, and Qilin vaguely appeared, and a huge power shrouded the star field where the ruins was located. As for this huge rainbow, it streaked across the demonic formation, penetrating the entire demonic formation, and countless thin shadows fell on the 3 magnetic forces. A phenomenon is descending from the sky? The divine weapon is formed. Perhaps Xiaohua didn't know what this phenomenon represented, but Emo Lianxi, Huafei, Shengguan Su, and the other cultivators of the ruins understood. All of them looked at Xiaohua with great surprise, and looked at the 3 magnetic forces that were becoming more and more mysterious under the rainbow. Seeing the envy, jealousy, and hatred in the eyes of the human cultivators, Xiaohua smiled bitterly in his heart. He knew that the 5 elements wishful heaven-reaching staff was an ancient vicious weapon, but he didn't expect its origin to be so great. He hadn't even started to refine it, and such a phenomenon had already appeared. Xiaohua's eyes flashed with a fierce look, and he shouted loudly, "Fellow Taoists, whoever dares to come over, whether human or devil, will kill without mercy." Yes. How could all of Xiaohua's doppelgangers not know the importance of this 5 elements wishful heaven-reaching staff? They all responded, and several doppelgangers even abandoned the Devil Emperor and teleported to the middle of Xiaohua and the 3 magnetic forces. Once the doppelgangers left, the pressure on the Devil Emperor was immediately relieved. He had fought with Xiaohua before, and also suffered a loss. In these dozens of years, he hadn't been idle. For the sake of Xiaohua's devil blade murder, he had racked his brains to find ways and means to deal with Xiaohua, and even found a devil weapon that was similar to devil blade murder. However, he didn't expect that dozens of years were nothing to him. But to Xiaohua, it was important. His doppelgangers had made great progress, and he had also suffered a loss in Xiaohua's hands. That devil's spear had also been taken away by Xiaohua without anyone noticing. He could be considered to have tried to steal a chicken, but ended up losing the rice used to lure it. Chapter 4174. Most importantly, hundreds of millions of wandering souls were nowhere to be found in the realm protection array of the ruins. The Demon Emperor Qi's 2 goals in coming to the ruins were about to fail. Previously, he was trapped by Xiaohua's clones and couldn't escape. Now that Xiaohua's clones were gone, a dozen or so human cultivators flew over, and their cultivations might not be inferior to theirs. However, it wasn't difficult for the Demon Emperor Qi to escape in front of these humans. Looking at the natural phenomenon and the ferocity of Xiaohua and his clones, the Demon Emperor Qi had a rare thought of escaping. However, looking at the Demon Emperor Qi's figure falling into the abyss, this thought flashed past his mind. After all, he had spent so much effort to besiege the ruins for hundreds of years. There was no reason for him to leave now. The Demon Emperor Qi was somewhat unwilling. The Demon Emperor Qi flapped his wings, and his demonic aura was like a tiger. While blocking the attacks of a group of human cultivators, his demonic consciousness swept toward Xiaohua. The Demon Emperor Qi's demonic consciousness swept over, and couldn't help but be shocked. His strength was originally higher than Xiaohua's, but under his demonic consciousness, he couldn't get within 100 miles of Xiaohua. Needless to say, the natural phenomenon had already confined Xiaohua. What is this thing? Is it a magic artifact refined by the human race? How can it be so powerful? The Demon Emperor Qi was once again worried. These 2 magnets, clearly, they have been refined by the demon spirit of the demon array, with the demon race's secret technique. Could it be that they still belong to the human race? If this magic artifact is successful, what kind of advantage can I have? It's better for me to leave. The Demon Emperor Qi had the thought of escaping for the second time. He moved his body, and demonic runes appeared around his body. The runes rushed into the air and blocked the attacks of the human cultivators. Moreover, Under the command of the demon Emperor Qi, a few more demon monarchs appeared from the void and blocked in front of him. However, just as he moved, he stopped again. His demonic consciousness looked around and thought to himself, "What's going on? Where's that demon spirit kid? He's holding the demon blade murder. Why haven't I seen him for so long? If I devour that devil spirit, I should be able to become a devil venerable, right?" Thinking of the devil spirit Xiaohua, Devil Emperor Qi hesitated again. He released his devil sense and tried his best to search. Sure enough, after passing through the battlefield of the human race and the devil race, in the distant mountain ridge, Devil Qi once again crisscrossed. That familiar bloodthirst of the devil blade attracted Devil Emperor Qi's devil sense all of a sudden. Understood. I'm afraid that the celestial beings' remains won't be able to kill Brother Devil formation. That's why they called the devil spirit brat to use the devil saber to kill him. The Devil Emperor Yin thought to himself. Now this human Xiaohua is subduing the magnetic field. I don't know what he is refining, but I can't stop him. Seems like now is the time. I might as well go and devour the devil spirit first. If possible, I can take the devil blade murder away. The demon emperor stopped hesitating. His body suddenly shrunk. While fighting the humans, he quietly moved toward the valley. Of course, Xiaohua didn't have the time to care about Demon Emperor Qi's scheme. He was now sitting cross-legged in front of the three magnets, casting spell seals one after another, landing on the gaps between the three magnets and the two Xiantian objects. Xiaohua didn't withdraw his golden body. After trying to refine the 5 elements wishful heaven cudgel, he felt that its power was not enough, so he simply used the heavenly dragon technique. In mid-air, not only were the golden dragon patterns fluttering wantonly, but the obscure rumbling sound like a dragon's roar was also incessant. As these lights and shadows flashed, clusters of sparks were born from the gaps. These sparks were different from ordinary flames. They were condensed from strands of extreme magnetic light. Every time they were born, the void was distorted and brought about strange fluctuations. These fluctuations wanted to spread in all directions, but they were attracted by the magnetic force and slowly fell into the magnetic field. Dragon Vein Xiaohua and the other doppelgangers cautiously guarded around Xiaohua. They released their divine thoughts and were carefully on guard. In the entire magnetic field, strange fluctuations were everywhere. The innate objects even disturbed the qi of heaven and earth. Except for the color of the rainbow bridge, the whole sky gradually revealed the image of earth, fire, wind, and thunder, as if a complete world was about to be born in Xiaohua's hands. In the face of such a situation, Xiaohua couldn't help but complain in his heart. Since he got the refining method of the 5 elements wishful heaven cudgel, he had already comprehended it thoroughly. He knew that this thing was not easy to refine, and he never thought that he would refine it outside the space. At this time, he had no choice but to force it. With his current cultivation, he might be able to refine it successfully, but what time was it? It was the crucial moment of the war with the demon race. How could he spend decades, or even centuries to refine the 5 elements wishful heaven cudgel? In addition, among the 3 magnetic fields, 2 of them had been refined by the demon race. If Xiaohua wanted to refine the 5 elements wishful heaven cudgel, he had to bear the brunt of the demon qi and demon blood inside. At this time, the demon qi inside the 2 magnetic fields was like Xiaohua's greatest enemy. In the magnetic fields, they tried their best to fight with Xiaohua for control. This kind of fight was dangerous. If he was careless, not to mention that the 3 magnetic fields would explode again, ruins would fall into greater trouble. Even Xiaohua himself would suffer unimaginable injuries. Therefore, the situation Xiaohua faced now was even worse than the human cultivators who were fighting the demon emperor. However, at this time, Xiaohua could only brace himself to refine it. When the bystanders saw Xiaohua display his might and awe-inspiring power, who would have thought of the danger inside? Another half a meal's worth of time later, the rainbow bridge that pierced through heaven and earth started to let out a loud rumble. After that, the entire ruin started to shake. The ground that was originally torn apart started to tear apart again. Huge vital qi pillars surged in from all directions and fell into Xiaohua's spell. Waves after waves of indescribable mysterious waves also flew out from the void and fell into the three magnets. Fellow Taoists, Xiao Hua suddenly shouted, let's attack together. Good. Dragon Vein Xiao Hua, Soul Cultivator Xiao Hua, Green Robe Xiao Hua, and the other doppelgangers responded. Everyone was of one mind. They each activated their Dharma idol. Whether it was the dragon-shaped Dharma body, the heavenly phoenix demon body, or the 5 Qis unifications, etc. All of their Dharma powers and divine arts fell into the magnetic fields. Woo-woo. Xiao Hua activated his divine arts. The rainbow bridge let out a rumble. Several 5 elements original forms appeared clearly from the horizon, and slowly fell into the magnetic fields with the rainbow bridge. Haha. Just when Xiao Hua was at the crucial moment of refining the 3 magnetic fields, the demon Emperor Qi laughed loudly from the abyss that was once again shattered by the 5 elements rainbow. He stepped on the devil flame and flew out. Right above his head, there was a shape that looked like a blood lotus. It was holding an indescribable thing. That thing was formless, soundless, and colorless. It could not be seen by the naked eye, spiritual sense, or devil sense. However, this thing gave birth to an obscure fluctuation in the blood lotus, blowing the blood light that surrounded it into a mess. As for the demon Emperor Qi, although he was laughing, he did not take the thing in his hand. That silver-black demonic arm tried its best to dance under the blood lotus. There were also strange fluctuations and demonic patterns on the demonic arm. The demonic arm seemed to be able to control the thing, but it also seemed like it could not. In short, the demon Emperor Qi could only fly up with the blood lotus. His huge demonic body followed, and the 2 demonic hammers swayed slightly around him, as if warning the humans to stay away. Seeing that the humans who chased after the demon emperor did not come back, Huafei and the other cultivators knew that they were in trouble. Huafei then looked at Shangguan Su, and then at Emo Lianqi, who was fighting the demon Emperor Qi in the distance. There was hesitation in his eyes. He hurriedly sent a telepathic message to Shangguan Su to discuss. Brother Shangguan, now that the Devil Emperor has found what they are looking for, I'm sure they will withdraw their troops. The human race of the ruins might be saved. In my opinion, why don't we give up on fighting with the Devil Emperor? No. Without waiting for Huafei to finish, Shangguan Su said firmly, we must not let the Demon Emperor succeed. Why? Huafei was a little embarrassed and angry, so he hurriedly asked. Shangguan Su replied coldly, the 3 great demon emperors have clearly reached an agreement. This demon emperor wants this item, while the other 2 demon emperors want something else. If this demon emperor obtains this item, he will not hesitate to kill the practitioners of the ruins with the other 2 demon emperors. Not to mention whether he will let go of the ruins or not. How are you going to snatch it? Huafei also sneered. I can only sense the strong fluctuations of that thing. But I don't even know what it is. Perhaps Perfected Xiao has a way. Shangguan Su could not help but whisper to Shangguan Su through telepathy as he watched Xiao Hua show off his invincible power. Huafei's gaze was complicated, and he said with a double meaning, Brother Shangguan, Perfected Xiao is an outer realm cultivator, and the cultivators of the ruins have offended him. Now that he has taken advantage of us and eaten the meat, we even left some soup for him. Do you still want to count on him? What exactly is a Dharma artifact refined by nearly 10 7th-stage Dao transformation cultivators working together? Shangguan Su was envious when he saw the 5 elements origin form approaching the ruins, and the changes in the ruins. This is the wood origin? Just as Shangguan Su and Huafei were discussing, the Shindao sect master Yun Che, who was in the distance, suddenly shouted with ecstasy on his face. How is this possible? The ruins is just a corner of the cultivation world. How can there be an origin item here? What? The wood origin? Shangguan Su glanced at Huafei, and both of their eyes were filled with shock. Although they did not know what Xiao Hua was refining, they were familiar with the divine abilities of origin items. They could not help but look at Xiao Hua. At this time, Yun Che had already released his primordial spirit Dharma idol. There was an oval-shaped red mole between his eyebrows. The red mole was flashing with a scarlet halo, which was similar to the color of the devil blood. It seemed that Yin Che had discovered the wood origin through this red mole. Damn it. Devil Emperor Qi heard Yin Che mention the wood origin and cursed angrily. His silver-black arm suddenly reached for the wood origin again. Unfortunately, just as he was about to touch the wood origin suddenly flew high and broke away from the devil blood's pursuit. The blood lotus then turned into tens of thousands of blood drops. Chapter 4175. Seeing that the wood origin was about to break free, the Devil Emperor Qi wasn't in a hurry. Go! With a soft command, he opened his mouth and activated his devilish energy. The blood droplets spread out like a net again. Sure enough, another small blood lotus appeared a few dozen meters away from him. The Devil Emperor Qi scanned the area with his devilish senses and saw that many human cultivators were about to make a move. He didn't dare to be careless. Just like the humans, he clenched his teeth and shot out a bolt of pitch-black lightning from the devilish armor in front of his chest. As soon as it appeared, the Devil Emperor Qi's body shrank by one size. However, when the light landed on his devilish arm, the silver light on his devilish arm grew brighter and brighter. The Devil Emperor Qi fell toward the wood origin again. Buzz buzz! The space near the wood origin was trembling, and so was the Devil Emperor Qi's silver-black arm. The tremors gradually spread into the Devil Emperor Qi's devilish body. The outer layer of his devilish body began to shed as layers of devilish patterns fell off, revealing the sturdy muscles underneath. Moreover, a ferocious aura spread out from the top of his head. A few human cultivators who were secretly approaching the wood origin were actually frightened by the aura and trembled. A devil sovereign. Sheng Guansu was shocked and realized something. He exclaimed, "The Devil Emperor is relying on the wood origin to become a devil sovereign?" Kiki. The Devil Emperor Qi laughed wildly. The origin energy had already begun to seep into his devil core, and an unprecedented feeling was born from it. Swoosh! At this moment, a clear cry descended from the sky. Yin Che raised his hand and slapped the top of his head. A ray of earthy yellow light shot out, and then a copper coin the size of a fist flew out and landed right where the Devil Emperor Qi was. Following the trajectory of the coin, a faint thin line emerged from the square eye of the coin. This thin line was very strange. It ignored space, demonic senses and blood lotuses, and pierced through the wood essence. The wood essence spun and came out of the demonic arm of the demon Emperor Ho, revealing a medium-sized hole in the demonic arm. The wood origin that was pierced through by the thin line disappeared in a flash. When it appeared again, it had already landed in the square eye of the copper coin. Haha! The light on the top of Yin Che's head brought the copper coin and the wood origin down rapidly. He couldn't help but laugh wildly. At this moment, he finally understood why the Tai bisects set up the ruins. This wood origin was definitely worth the Tai bisects side branch to guard and search for. Furthermore, the tearing of the southwest border of the ruins should have something to do with the Tai bisect, the Devil Emperor, Tai Bai, and the Devil Emperor Qi's arrival, and the Devil Emperor Qi's head. Moreover, Yin Che didn't seem to care to absorb the wood origin into his body to absorb the wood origin, as if he wasn't afraid that the wood origin of the wood to explode his body to explode to pieces. Seeing Yin Che's appearance, many cultivators who had some foundation in the ruins also thought of the same thing. Just as Yin Che was getting carried away, and the Devil Emperor Qi was getting flustered and exasperated, Mo Lianqi suddenly frowned again. Although the Devil Emperor Qi was furious, he didn't use any divine ability to chase after the wood origin. Instead, his actions seemed to be putting on an act. Mo Lianqi was shocked and hurriedly shouted, "Brother Yin, be careful of the willow." Unfortunately, before he could finish his sentence, an emerald green brilliance flashed in midair. Immediately after, a muffled puff sound rang out. The golden light protecting Yin Che's body was instantly annihilated. The space in front of the primordial spirit manifestation's chest twisted, and a speck of emerald green that was stained with blood seeped out. As soon as this emerald green appeared, it immediately expanded and gradually grew like a germinating seed. However, The price of this seed's growth was beyond the imagination of ordinary people. The fertilizer for the seed was actually Yun Che's primordial spirit image. As the seed grew into a sapling, Yun Che's primordial spirit image rapidly shrank. The faint halo above the image was now abnormally dim. Yun Che's primordial spirit had been absorbed by the sapling. You. It's actually really you. Yun Che lowered his head and looked at the bloodstain on his chest. He sadly turned his head back, and his eyes were filled with disappointment, regret, and pain. He said in a low voice, "How could it be you?" "Be careful of what?" Behind Yun Che, the green light dissipated, revealing Lu Wuxia's figure. At this time, Lu Wuxia had a smile on her face. Her gaze swept past the crowd and landed on Emo Lianxi. She asked sarcastically, "Be careful of Lu Wuxia?" "That's right." Emo Lianxi's face was also angry, and even a little twisted. Seeing the green color on Yun Che's face, she knew that Lu Wuxia was vicious. She actually used the Misty School's secret art to attack Yun Che's primordial spirit. She scolded, "Be careful of Lu Wuxia." "Oh, why should I be careful of Lu Wuxia and not Emo Lianxi?" Lu Wuxia raised her hand and flicked her middle finger. A wooden arrow flew out and landed on the copper coin. The wooden arrow made an ingenious turn and landed in her hand with the origin of wood. Her hand was as beautiful as a flower. Looking at the copper coin that imprisoned the origin of wood, Lu Wuxia could not help but smile. "It's very simple." Emo Lianxi looked at Yun Che's life force fading away with heartache. She said coldly, "When the devil race surrounded the ruins, this Emo had already privately looked for Sect Master Yun. Although the devil race could surround the ruins and seal most of the teleportation channels, how could the devil race know about those secret teleportation channels? Even if they have innate spatial talents, they definitely wouldn't be able to discover them, unless they have a spy in the ruins. And this spy must know all the secret teleportation channels in the ruins. In the entire ruins, those who fit this condition can be counted on one hand. Emo Lianxi looked at Lu Wuxia, as if she wasn't afraid that Lu Wuxia would suddenly attack. Among these people, Sect Master Lu seems to be the most suspicious, right? However, Sect Master Yun didn't care, and turned a deaf ear to this Mo's words. "Sigh, as expected, you finally revealed your true colors." Then Emo Lianxi looked at Yun Che and asked, "Sect Master Yin, you knew that Lu Wuxia was the most suspicious. Why didn't you guard against her?" Yun Che looked at Lu Wuxia. All of the regret in his eyes had disappeared, leaving behind only a faint trace of sadness. He replied softly, "There are some people that I need to be on guard against, but there are others that I don't want to be on guard against. I'm willing to give my everything to her, and I only hope that she won't let me down." Unfortunately, in her eyes, nothing can compare to power and lust. Everything she does has a purpose. My choice may have been wrong, but I don't regret it. "You." Emo Lianxi stomped her feet. She was really angry that he didn't fight back. She didn't know what to say. A strange expression appeared on Lu Wuxia's face. She looked at Yun Che and lifted her hand, as if she was about to do something. However, when she touched his hand, she couldn't feel any magic power. Lu Wuxia then asked, "You knew all along?" "I can't take what Sect Master Emo said seriously, but when I heard that you and Spiritual Master Xiao were fighting together, and Spiritual Master Xiao went missing, you were heavily injured and went into seclusion, I immediately became suspicious. You've always treasured your reputation, so how could you be injured so easily? And when I heard that Spiritual Master Xiao had a devil art, I was even more certain. If the devil race has a spy in the ruins, then it must be you." Lu Wuxia's expression tightened. Then, she asked with interest, "Then why didn't you tell Spiritual Master Xiao Hua? Although you're not my match, Xiao Hua has the strength to do so." "Spiritual Master Xiao abhors evil. If I told him, would you still be alive? Moreover, Spiritual Master Xiao is an outsider after all," Yun Che said. He wanted to take out the pill, but his strength seemed to have been sucked out. He only had the strength to speak. Emo Lianxi was about to move, but the Devil Emperor waved his arm and blocked in front of Emo Lianxi. Lu Wuxia glanced at Emo Lianxi and said indifferently, "His heart veins have been destroyed, and his primordial spirit has been sucked into the wood spirit. You don't need to waste your time. I just want to get the wood origin to surpass the Tao transformation. Don't force me to do it. I forced you to do it? Lianqi was furious. She pointed at Yunqi and said, You did it yourself. No one forced you. You killed the person you trusted the most. No one can accompany me on the path of Tao transformation, Lu Wuxia said indifferently. There's no such thing as trust in this world. Humph. Lianqi looked at the dying Yunqi and felt an indescribable pain in her heart. She snorted and said, Did you hear it with your own ears? This is Lu Wuxia's answer. Are you satisfied now? It doesn't matter if I'm satisfied or not. Yunqi shrunk his neck. The little sapling in front of his chest had grown into a big tree, and his body had returned to the size of an ordinary person. He really looked like a human hanging under a big tree. He said in a lonely voice, I just feel a little cold. That's because your heart is cold. I told you long ago. Lianqi didn't know how to comfort Yunqi. Sect Master Mo, do you remember the song I hummed to you? Yunqi suddenly asked. Lianqi was stunned, but she replied without hesitation. Of course I remember. Why do you suddenly ask? Good. Yunqi's eyes shone with a trace of brilliance, and the corner of his mouth curled up as he said, I really miss those days. The sky was blue, the moon was curved, the water was clear, and the clouds were faint. Pitiful. I'll leave everything to you to decide. I want peace. After saying that, Yunqi tilted his head. A Tao transformation cultivator actually died just like that. This really shocked everyone present. After all, a Tao transformation cultivator had already cultivated a primordial spirit. A simple primordial spirit thread divine ability could allow a Tao transformation cultivator to escape. How could he die so easily? Of course, if Yunqi wasn't determined to die, then it was because Lu Wuxia's method was too powerful. Sigh. Lianqi sighed as she watched Yunqi's body rapidly wither away. Not even a trace of his primordial spirit could escape. She began to sing an inexplicable ballad. The ballad was cheerful and sad at the same time. However, as the ballad was sung, the copper coin in Lu Wuxia's hand suddenly emitted a sharp energy fluctuation. Chapter 4176. Ayo, this is bad. Lu Wuxia sensed this fluctuation and immediately had a bad feeling in her heart. She immediately decided to teleport away, but it was already too late. The copper coin suddenly exploded under the influence of Lianqi's ordinary song. The copper coin was an artifact that could seal the origin of wood, so its explosion was extremely powerful. Lu Wuxia was just about to teleport away when the shockwave had already enveloped an area of 1,000 miles. Not just Lu Wuxia, even Lianqi, Devil Emperor Qi, and many other human and devil cultivators were trapped. Strands of earthy yellow lightning emerged from the copper coin's explosion. In the blink of an eye, half of Lu Wuxia's head and half of her shoulder were torn apart. Moreover, even more lightning surged out from the cracks and pounced on all the humans and devils within 1,000 miles. Lianqi suddenly came to a realization. She knew that Yunqi couldn't kill Lu Wuxia, so he told her the method to kill Lu Wuxia. Moreover, he couldn't face Lu Wuxia's death, so he didn't guard against Lu Wuxia. His heart was filled with grief, and he sped up the song again. However, when he saw how powerful the copper coin was, he hesitated and stopped. In the few breaths of time he stopped, the copper coin's shackles loosened. Devil Emperor Qi immediately laughed sinisterly and stretched his devil arm into the void. Lianqi was shocked and quickly retreated. But after retreating a few miles, Lianqi suddenly discovered that at the place where he was standing before, hundreds of white bones had emerged from the void and pierced into Lianqi, who looked exactly like him. Moreover, several miles to the left of Lu Wuxia, a faint layer of mist was destroyed by the copper coin's explosion, as if it had been washed away by water, revealing a completely different world. An illusion formation? Lianqi turned pale with fright. He really couldn't understand how he had fallen into an illusion formation. Moreover, he wasn't the only one. All the human and devil cultivators in the ruins, and even the 3 devil emperors, had fallen into this illusion formation as well. Who in the world had such great divine ability? At this time, Imo Lianqi's face suddenly revealed ecstasy. After all, if this place was an illusion formation, and his body could be transformed, then did that mean everything that had happened before was also an illusion? He could not help but look towards the place where Yunqi had fallen. How he wished that Yunqi's figure could still be standing in the sky right now. Unfortunately, just as he released his divine sense, a faint voice sounded in his ears. Sect Master Imo, don't look anymore. This illusion array was set up by me. But the core of the illusion array is the demonic array's demonic spirit. Fellow Taoists, you're only affected by it. Everything that happened before is real. Previously, when fellow Taoist Yin Che invited this Xiao to be a guest elder of the Shindao sect, he already told this Xiao about the spies in the ruins. This Xiao has met the sect masters of the three great sects, and has long since suspected Lu Wuxia. However, while I was on guard against Lu Wuxia, I neglected her ambitions. I didn't know that she also coveted the origin of wood. Moreover, you've also seen that this Xiao has to use all his strength to collect the two origin magnetic stones. I don't have any spare energy to guard against her attacking others. However, Sect Master Yin Che's magic treasure is truly powerful. This Xiao is worried about how to kill Devil Emperor Qi. Why don't Sect Master Imo let this magic treasure explode? It'll also fulfill Sect Master Yin's wish. Sect Master Imo, don't be afraid of injuring our human cultivators. This Xiao's illusion array can control a portion of the magic treasure's explosive power, so that the human cultivators won't be injured. Moreover, if we don't kill Devil Emperor Qi now, won't more human cultivators die when he goes crazy later? Although the voice was Xiao Hua's, it was not Xiao Hua who said it. At this time, Xiao Hua was using all his strength to collect the three origin magnetic stones. The one who transmitted the message was the green-robed Xiao Hua. Hearing Xiao Hua's words, Imo Lianqi was shocked. He was clear about Xiao Hua's cultivation level, and he also believed in the divine ability of the incense cult's founder. He believed that Xiao Hua was the incense cult's savior. However, he really could not believe that a mere Dao transformation realm cultivator could set up such a huge illusion array and confuse three great devil emperors. Moreover, one of the three devil emperors was the Devil Emperor Qi of the zombie race, and the devil spirit of the devil formation. However, at this time, there was no time for him to hesitate. He narrowed his eyes and began to chant the ballad again. Rumble! Tens of millions of yellow thunderbolts flashed in the sky not far away. A destructive aura shrouded the area within 1,000 miles. As soon as this terrifying aura appeared, it immediately tore apart the illusion array. Many places where human cultivators were standing were turned into empty space. The devil cultivators who were fighting against the human cultivators were dumbfounded. Devil Emperor Qi also looked at the place where his devil arm had extended out in surprise. Imo Lianqi, whose primordial spirit and physical body had withered just a moment ago, had disappeared. The most shocking of all was Lu Wuxia. After Lu Wuxia's head and arm were destroyed, he had lost all hope and thought that there was no way out for him. But at that moment, Imo Lianqi had hesitated, and the explosive power of the copper coin had weakened. Lu Wuxia had hurriedly fled. In the span of a few breaths, Lu Wuxia had already teleported more than 1,000 kilometers away. However, when she saw the lightning coming again, she realized that she hadn't even moved more than a few feet. The lightning from the copper coin was still right above her head. Lu Wuxia's face was pale. Without hesitation, she opened her mouth, and a pure white Xiaohua appeared. As the Xiaohua appeared, the space around Lu Wuxia immediately collapsed. The remaining half of her head rapidly aged, and her entire physical body gradually withered. However, the copper coin of the Shindao sect was a divine metal object. It could be used to attract the origin of wood, and it was also the nemesis of wood-type spiritual objects. The khaki-colored lightning fell from the sky, although the pure white Xiaohua propped up a corner of the sky, and the Xiaohua also emitted powerful waves of energy. It only lasted for a few moments under the khaki-colored lightning. Boom! The metal waves annihilated the wood waves, creating a kind of annihilation of the 5 elements. This annihilation was like a pitch-black vortex, annihilating everything within a few miles. As the sect leader of one of the three great sects of the ruins, Lu Wuxia was a well-known expert in the ruins. Now, she was also helpless in the face of this annihilation of the five elements. Not only was her broken physical body sucked into the vortex, but her primordial spirit of the fifth stage Dao transformation realm was also sucked into the vortex. Not a single wisp of her soul escaped. It was exactly as the saying went. Too clever of a trick, and it ended up ruining Qingqing's life. Naturally, there were hundreds of Dao cultivators around Lu Wuxia. When they were escaping, they were not trapped by the illusory formation. Now those who were slow to escape were killed, but most of them were still alive. If Lu Wuxia was in such a state, Devil Emperor Qi would not fare any better. Under the illusory formation controlled by the green-robed Xiaohua, many khaki-colored lightning also fell on Devil Emperor Qi's demonic body. Although Devil Emperor Qi's demonic body was tens of thousands of feet tall, the demonic runes on his demonic body shattered when the lightning struck. Waves of demonic light also roared to meet the attack. But these pitch-black lightning all collapsed when it came into contact with the khaki-colored lightning. After the demonic runes were destroyed, the demonic armor appeared. The demonic armor of Devil Emperor Qi seemed to have some history. As the thunderbolts landed, the demonic armor roared furiously as the demonic souls of the devil race emerged from the armor and devoured the thunderbolts. Of course, this only lasted for a moment. Hung long. Thunderous rumbles came from the demonic armor. The Devil Emperor Qi was like a demonic armor. Unfortunately, the demonic armor was a demonic slayer armor. As the thunderbolts pierced into the demonic body of Devil Emperor Qi, it tore apart the demonic body that Devil Emperor Qi had spent a long time refining. Roar! Devil Emperor Qi roared into the sky, and his demonic body quickly shrank. At the same time, the demonic hammer on his demonic arm danced, and the silver-black demonic arm also struck towards the lightning. The demonic hammer also had pitch-black demonic runes and lightning on it, but they all collapsed under the khaki-colored lightning. Even the demonic hammer was destroyed. As for the silver-black demonic arm, although the lightning couldn't destroy it, it still created deep holes, making it look like it was riddled with holes. As Devil Emperor Qi's demonic body shrank, the demonic energy around Devil Emperor Qi formed layers of demonic seals to resist the lightning. Although the demonic seals were destroyed one after another, the demonic energy was also formed one after another. For a time, the lightning couldn't kill Devil Emperor Qi. While Devil Emperor Qi was holding on, tens of thousands of demons around him were also destroyed by the lightning and turned into dust. Seeing this, the Demon Emperor Qi's heart was filled with sorrow. They targeted the ruins because they saw that the ruins didn't have a profound cultivation sect. However, he didn't expect that the Tai Bai sect had already set up a trap in the ruins. Although the Shindao sect's sect master Yun Che didn't have the strength to kill the Devil Emperor, the Tai Bai sect left the ruins a divine weapon that could kill the Devil Emperor. Although this divine weapon was far from being pushed to the limit, the destructive power of the divine weapon was enough to complete the Tai Bai sect's mission. Crack crack. All of a sudden, the lightning in the sky disappeared, and the copper coin that had exploded was left with a broken shape in the air. Devil Emperor Qi was stunned. How could he still hesitate? His demonic energy was already exhausted, and if the lightning fell a few more times he would die. Devil Emperor Qi urged his body, and like a stray dog, he hurriedly fled towards the sky. The moment the thunderbolts stopped, another round of 5 Qi righteous thunders struck down from above Demon Emperor Qi's head. How could Devil Emperor Qi not know that this was the Confucian cultivator Xiaohua's attack? He hurriedly stretched out his broken demonic arm and grabbed towards the sky. A layer of ripples blocked the 5 energy righteous lightning like a fishing net. However, before he saw the lightning rumble, a kind of fear immediately appeared in his heart, and he fled towards the sky without hesitation. However, just as he moved, and before the demonic shadow appeared, swoosh, a golden light flashed in the sky, and the soaring dragon scissors slashed across his demonic body. Crack! A clear cracking sound came from his heart, and his demonic core was cut in half by the soaring dragon scissors. Chapter 4177. You. Devil Emperor Qi cried out in disbelief. He looked down at his devil body that was rapidly collapsing. Tens of thousands of vortexes were forming inside his devil body. And where his devil core was, wisps of devil flames were gushing out like black blood. A famous expert of the devil realm had fallen in a foreign land just like that. The most terrifying thing was obviously not this. Just as Devil Emperor Qi's devil soul left his body, a strange whirlwind appeared in the air and sucked his devil soul into a bloody place. Devil Emperor Qi didn't even have a chance to resist. Devil Emperor Qi was killed by Xiaohua, and Emo Lianqi's figure appeared not far away. Green-robed Xiaohua also appeared in the air like a god. What's going on? Why didn't you continue with the spell? Green-robed Xiaohua looked at the copper coin in the air and asked Emo Lianqi in confusion. Emo Lianqi's face blushed, and she said in a low voice, "This humble one heard Yun Che sing that ballad in his early years. After so many years, this humble one doesn't remember it too clearly." Hee. Green-robed Xiaohua laughed mischievously. He raised his hand and grabbed the broken copper coin in his hand. He said with a smile, "If you finish singing, then this copper coin would also be finished. It's fine now. Let this poor Taoist take this thing to buy buns." Taoist? Emo Lianqi was shocked. She hurriedly reached out and said, "This is something that Yun Che wore when he was young. Can Taoists give this thing to this humble one, as a memento?" "You want Yun Che's things? Easy, you can pick one yourself." Green-robed Xiaohua smiled and said as he took out a spatial ring from his chest and handed it to Emo Lianqi. When Emo Lianqi saw this, she almost fell from the air. Wasn't this spatial ring Yun Che wore on his finger? She didn't know when green-robed Xiaohua took it. Taking a deep breath, Emo Lianqi begged, "Taoist, this spatial ring is a symbol of the Shindao sect master. This humble one thinks it's better to leave it to the Shindao sect." "Oh, that's true." Green-robed Xiaohua rubbed his chin, as if he were thinking of something. After a moment he said, "Then let's return this spatial ring to the Shindao sect." Emo Lianqi was helpless. She could only bluntly say, "Taoist master, it's not just the spatial ring. The things inside must also be returned to the Shindao sect." "That won't do." The green-robed Xiaohua immediately shook his head like a rattledrum. "This spatial ring was picked up by I. How can you return it just like that?" Emo Lianqi was speechless. He thought for a moment and probed, "Spiritual master, the cultivators of the ruins have suffered great losses. In today's battle, many sect leaders have fallen. Among the three major sects, the leaders of the Misty School and the Shindao sect have lost their lives. The two sects are showing signs of decline. If you don't return the Shindao sect's things to the Shindao sect, the Shindao sect will no longer be one of the three major sections. It will definitely decline. Didn't Taoist Master Xiao say it before? He is a guest elder of the Shindao sect. Do you want him to be a guest elder of a small sect? The Shindao sect is reduced to a second-rate sect because of a spatial ring? How is this possible? However, what you said makes some sense. After all, Xiaohua is a guest elder of the Shindao sect. I can't go too far." Green-robed Xiaohua scratched his head, thought for a moment, and handed the spatial ring to Emo Lianqi and said, "Then I'll have to trouble you to transfer this thing to the Shindao sect." "Okay." Emo Lianqi took the spatial ring. Just as she said okay, her face changed slightly. Because the spatial ring was very empty, there were no materials. Elixirs and so on were gone. Only jade slips and other things were left in it. Emo Lianqi opened her mouth, but looking at green-robed Xiaohua, she knew that no matter what she said, he wouldn't admit it. Emo Lianqi thought for a moment, and had no choice but to put away the spatial ring. Looking at the many primordial spirits in the distance who were still urging their magic power to suppress the multicolored light, she asked in a low voice, "Taoist Master Xiao, is it still not enough?" "Damn it, of course it's not enough." Green-robed Xiaohua cursed and said, "Who knew that refining the 5 elements wishful heaven staff would be so difficult? This is just the blood refining stage, and so much magic power is spent. How can I refine it in the future?" Five elements wishful heaven staff. Emo Lianqi was dumbfounded. Of course, she had heard of the fame of the ancient vicious weapon. She didn't think that the human race of the cultivation world could refine such a divine object. Wasn't this wishful thinking? Unfortunately, how could Emolienchi dare to say half a word at this time? He still had to fill up the things in Yun Che's spatial ring. And he also had to think about how to explain this to the Shindao sect elders. He didn't want to cause any more trouble. However, there was no need for him to say anything. Suddenly, a thunderous sound came from the mountain range in the distance. Several demonic pillars rose out of thin air, and the figure of a demon emperor strangely appeared in the middle of the demonic pillars, causing Emolienchi to tremble in fear. Green-robed Xiaohua smiled, waving the Kunlun mirror in his hand, and said, "Sect Master Emo, are you interested in watching a show with me?" Of course. Emolienchi nodded without hesitation. She really wanted to see how magical Xiaohua's illusion array was, and how this illusion array killed the other two demon emperors. "Let's go," green-robed Xiaohua called out, and the Kunlun mirror in his hand emitted a multicolored brilliance. The brilliance fell in the air and turned into pitch-black demonic energy. As the demonic energy rolled, a huge demonic space appeared. Moreover, within the space, Xiaohua, green-robed Xiaohua, and the others rushed towards the demonic pillars in the middle of the mountain range at lightning speed. Emolienchi's divine sense swept over Xiaohua and the others. It was no different from what he saw before. But when he turned his head to look at the previous location, Xiaohua and the others were still in the middle of the multicolored light. Sigh! Emolienchi shook her head slightly and urged her figure to follow behind green-robed Xiaohua. At this time, she didn't know whether this green-robed Xiaohua was an illusion or not. When Emolienchi flew to the mountain range, she saw that the surrounding tens of thousands of miles of the mountain range had turned into a mess. The mountain range, the boulders, the forest, and everything else had been affected by the battle between the demonic spirit and the bone-tempering Xiaohua. Nothing existed. At the demonic pillars, hundreds of millions of demonic soldiers and generals had appeared. Under the leadership of Demon Emperor Qi, they were desperately fighting against Xiaohua and the other illusions. Xiaohua and the other illusions were like gods that could casually kill countless demonic soldiers. And in the middle of these demonic soldiers and generals, demonic spirit Xiaohua and bone-tempering Xiaohua were struggling to deal with the attacks of the demonic spirit and Demon Emperor Qi in just a moment. Bone-tempering Xiaohua was the first to be defeated, and he escaped from the heavenly white bone. Before bone-tempering Xiaohua could take out the blood bone from the heavenly white bone, Demon Emperor Qi let out a wild laugh. The demonic spirit of the demonic spirit came out of Demon Emperor Qi's demonic body and turned into a demonic pillar that reached the sky. It rushed towards the demonic array space formed by the Kunlun mirror. Demon Emperor Qi even crossed the space and fell into the white bone. When Demon Emperor Qi fell into the white bone immediately flashed with lightning again. The three heads crazily spewed out multicolored light, and the 6 arms pierced towards bone-tempering Xiaohua. Bone-tempering Xiaohua had obviously overdrawn his spiritual power. While he tried his best to block the attack of the arms, he couldn't block the multicolored light. The multicolored light pierced through his head, and he fell to the ground. After that, Devil Emperor Qi even flapped his wings and killed Devil Spirit Xiaohua swiftly like a bolt of lightning, before seizing Devil Saber slaughter from him. Ha ha ha. Demon Emperor Qi and Demon Emperor Qi both laughed. One controlled the white bone, the other waved the demonic saber, and they attacked Xiaohua and the other clones. In the illusion, Xiaohua and the others were naturally not the opponents of the 3 great demon emperors. After stubbornly resisting for an hour, they were finally killed by the 3 great demon emperors. Demon Emperor Qi and Demon Emperor Qi still wanted to continue chasing the cultivators of the ruins. However, under Demon Emperor Qi's persuasion, they returned to the demonic array to rest first. After they readied themselves, they would return to the ruins. The 3 demon emperors moved their figures and proudly led the demonic soldiers and generals back to the demonic array formed by the spatial light pillar. Demon Emperor Qi was leading the way. Emolienchi, who was hiding in the illusion array, was ecstatic. Just as Emolienchi was ecstatic, she saw that the demonic spirit of the demonic array which hadn't completely entered the Kunlun mirror, suddenly shouted, "Not good! This isn't this emperor's." Moreover, as the demonic spirit of the demonic array roared, waves of fluctuations were generated from the demonic chi pillar that he turned into, destroying the illusion array nearby. When the demonic soldiers and generals disappeared, Demon Emperor Chi's figure also disappeared. Unfortunately, before he could finish his words, the demonic saber murder flashed and cut the demonic pillar in half. Demonic spirit Xiaohua had already stretched out his demonic body from the Kunlun mirror. The demonic chi of the blood-dripping paradise was generated, and like a torrential river, it swallowed the remaining demonic chi of the demonic array's demonic spirit. Ao! The demonic spirit of the demonic array howled crazily, trying to escape from the Kunlun mirror. However, demonic spirit Xiaohua was also a demonic spirit that had lived for God knows how many years. He was very familiar with the demonic array's demonic spirit's weakness. After a few rounds of swallowing, he firmly controlled the demonic spirit and dragged him into the Kunlun mirror. At the same time, a powerful suction force was generated from the Kunlun mirror, firmly enveloping Demon Emperor Chi and Demon Emperor Chi at the same time. Tens of thousands of thunderbolts were generated from Xiaohua's body and landed on the Kunlun mirror. Demon Emperor Chi seemed a little surprised, seeing the demonic soldiers and generals around him disappear, and Demon Emperor Chi also turned into nothingness. He didn't dare to believe that everything he killed was an illusion. In particular, when the white bones around him also turned into nothingness, he understood that his formless demonic body was hurriedly fleeing for his life. As for Demon Emperor Chi, he already had a warning in his heart. When the demonic saber in his hand disappeared, he didn't stop at all. The wings on his back spread out, and the demonic horn on his forehead produced a space-tearing force. Demon Emperor Chi's figure rushed into the space crack at an extremely fast speed, and before Demon Emperor Chi could say anything, he disappeared from the illusion. Damn it! Green-robed Xiaohua angrily cursed. The Kunlun mirror emitted a dazzling light that swept across Demon Emperor Chi's demonic body. With a sizzling sound, more than half of Demon Emperor Chi's demonic body was destroyed. The light beam rushed into the space crack, and a miserable scream came from the distance. Chapter 4178. Just as green-robed Xiaohua used the Kunlun mirror to injure Demon Emperor Chi, Emo Lianqi clearly saw that there was still a small half of Demon Emperor Chi's body falling into the void. He hurriedly used his spiritual power and spells, but he only managed to kill half of Demon Emperor Chi in the end. He still couldn't stop Demon Emperor Chi. He hurriedly reminded green-robed Xiaohua, "Demon Emperor Chi has escaped." He can't escape." The green-robed Xiaohua rubbed his hands, and streaks of crystal light fell into the void. Rumble! The sound of thunder resounded, and sure enough, the miserable shrieks of the Demon Emperor could be faintly heard from the void. After the time it takes to brew a cup of tea, the screams and the thunder slowly stopped. The corner of green-robed Xiaohua's mouth rose slightly. The light of the Kunlun mirror in his hand faded, revealing a mirror covered with demonic patterns. Of course, these demonic patterns were rapidly decreasing. It seemed that Xiaohua was devouring the demonic array's demonic spirit. Shua! Like tearing silk, Emo Lianqi's eyes flashed slightly. The whole world was still the same world, but some details seemed to have changed. Looking at the messy ground, bone-tempering Xiaohua's extremely tired figure appeared. On his shoulder was a dream mirage butterfly flapping its wings. Emo Lianqi's gaze fell on the dream mirage butterfly. Suddenly, an indescribable small world appeared, and scenes of childhood memories covered him like light and shadow. Emo Lianqi turned pale with fright, and hurriedly closed his eyes. However, to Emo Lianqi's surprise, all the illusions still appeared. Cough cough. Green-robed Xiaohua coughed. The Kunlun mirror's light pillar reappeared, and took back the dream mirage butterfly. Only then did the illusions around Emo Lianqi slowly disappear. Emo Lianqi looked around in surprise, and his back suddenly broke out in cold sweat. Facing the dream mirage butterfly, the Tao foundation he had refined for tens of thousands of years was like paper. Rumble! At this moment, thunder and lightning appeared in the distant space. The original forms of the 5 elements that had appeared in the star field earlier had now fallen into the contact of the magnetism. The thunderbolt that descended from the sky not only shattered the previous imprisonment, but also fell into the original forms of the 5 elements. The original forms of the 5 elements actually produced a multicolored light that Xiaohua could not control, causing the 3 magnetism to shake. Not good. Xiaohua had already refined the primordial magnet and innate mother with his blood. He understood that this was the most crucial moment. If he couldn't refine the 5 elements into the primordial magnet, then not only would he fail, he and the others would also suffer from the backlash. This backlash wasn't just the backlash from refining tools. It was also the backlash from the celestial phenomenon. Fellow Taoists, Xiaohua's forehead was drenched in sweat, and he had no choice but to remind them once more. His hands once again surged with seals, and all of his magic power struck the origin magnetism. Seeing the entire space slowly stop shaking, and the overflowing multicolored light begin to converge, Xiaohua's heart gradually calmed down. But at this moment, a voice filled with hatred came from beside Xiaohua's ear. Taoist Master Xiao, have you thought about the situation when you fall? Who? Xiaohua turned pale with fright. Right now he was using all his strength to refine the origin magnetic field. There was simply no way for him to be distracted. If he were to draw out even a trace of his magic power, the origin magnetic field would be ruined, and he would suffer a backlash. Now that he heard the malicious voice, how could he not know that he had encountered a huge problem? Sure enough, in the void, a small part of the demon Emperor Qiong's demonic body appeared. But that voice did not belong to the demon Emperor Qiong. Heavenly demon, you actually have a trace of a clone? You don't return to your own sky of freedom, but still want to borrow the demon Emperor Qiong's demonic body. You really are deliberately scheming. Xiaohua suddenly woke up, and in the distance, the green-robed Xiaohua was similarly shocked. The Kunlun mirror in his hand had already been activated once more. Whatever this king wants to kill, no matter if it is a human, immortal, or Buddha, this king has never failed. The heavenly demon controlled the demon Emperor Qiong's demonic body and threw it into Xiaohua's body. Sensing Xiaohua's abundant essence, the heavenly demon's mouth was filled with an indescribable pride. You are but a mere human cultivator. Even if you have one fortuitous encounter after another, you will absolutely not be able to escape from this king's palm. Sensing that his body was gradually losing control of itself, Xiaohua's eyes slightly narrowed, and he slightly withdrew the seals in his hands. Boom! A strand of 5 elements multicolored light penetrated the origin magnetic field and landed on Xiaohua's head. Oh, what are you doing? The heavenly demon greedily absorbed Xiaohua's essence and quickly took control of Xiaohua's body. He asked with some surprise, could it be that you think self-destruction can free you? Don't even dream about it. Fellow Taoist, the green-robed Xiaohua and the bone-honed Xiaohua both hurriedly came to his rescue, and the Kunlun mirror's light pillar also covered Xiaohua. Although Emo Lianqi at the side didn't know what was going on, how could he not know that the situation had changed? However, at this critical moment, a powerful fluctuation appeared on Xiaohua's head. At the location of the 5 elements multicolored light, a thumb-sized emerald green light spot suddenly appeared. This light spot was extremely bright, and it shone so brightly that Emo Lianqi hurriedly closed his eyes. A strange thought immediately emerged from the bottom of his heart. Wood origin. Xiaohua can actually capture the wood origin. Damn it, all the benefits have been taken by him. We cultivators of the ruins can't even get a mouthful of soup. It was exactly as Emo Lianqi thought. As soon as the emerald green wood origin fell, emerald green flames instantly appeared around Xiaohua's body, igniting every part of his body. Even the bodies of dragon bloodline Xiaohua and the bone-honed Xiaohua's clones also lit up with this emerald green flame. The heavenly demon and the demon emperor howled at the same time in Xiaohua's body. Damn it, damn it! What is this? The heavenly demon's remnant body and the demon emperor's body had never been tempered by the origin power. So of course they didn't know what the origin power was. However, What they knew was that their devil bodies couldn't withstand the burning of the origin power. At this moment, Xiaohua's body was completely enveloped by the origin power. Even if they wanted to escape, they couldn't. Walking into a trap, lifting a rock and smashing it on their own feet. This was probably the best way to describe their current situation. In just the blink of an eye, the two Devil Realm experts were completely annihilated. As for Xiaohua, he had borrowed the power of the origin source to easily refine the origin magnet. After putting the origin power into the space, Xiaohua's mini clones all sat cross-legged in the air, guiding the origin power of wood to temper their bodies. Mo Lianxi looked at Xiaohua with some envy. He knew that even if he obtained the origin power of wood, he would absolutely not dare to use it like this. Although Xiaohua was lucky, he also had the confidence to be lucky. Mo Lianxi didn't dare to disturb Xiaohua and the others' meditation. He flew into the sky and released his divine sense. At this moment, although 2 of the 3 demon emperors surrounding the ruins had been killed, and the remaining one had escaped, the Taoist devil war wasn't over. The devil race was still fighting fiercely with the human race everywhere. Even in the southwest border, there were still many demon monarchs leading demon soldiers and demon generals, fighting against the conference hall's troops. It was just that all the human race and devil race viewed Xiaohua's location as a forbidden area, and no one dared to approach. Sigh. Mo Lianxi sighed. Looking at the dark clouds covering the demonic array, he knew that the task of the war was still very difficult. However, after sighing, he smiled. Although it was difficult to break this demonic array, as long as Xiaohua was willing, the ruins would be able to see the light of day sooner or later. Woo-woo. Just as Mo Lianxi sighed, the Kunlun mirror beside the green-robed Xiaohua produced a whistling sound. Light flashed inside, and the devil spirit Xiaohua flew out. At this moment, the devil spirit Xiaohua seemed to be much more spirited. He nodded at the green-robed Xiaohua, and then his figure teleported into the sky. The following scene completely stunned Mo Lianxi. The devil spirit Xiaohua raised his head, opened his mouth, and spat out a stream of devil qi that crashed into the devil pillar in the demonic array. Then, the devil pillar crazily rolled, and quickly returned to the demonic array. The devil race hiding inside the devil pillar were all exposed. Just as these devil race were baffled, the devil pillar fell into the demonic array, and then the entire demonic array began to boil. It turned into a torrent of devil qi and devil flame that followed the devil spirit Xiaohua's devil qi into his stomach. The hundreds of millions of devil race were slowly exposed in the star field. With the disappearance of the demonic array, the brilliance of the 3 suns began to sprinkle over the entire earth. Looking at this crazy scene, Mo Lianxi couldn't recover for a long time. She thought that Xiaohua would have to spend a lot of energy to break the demonic array, but she didn't expect that the devil spirit Xiaohua, who swallowed the demonic array's devil spirit, could break the entire demonic array in a snap of his fingers. However, the demonic array disappeared, but the devil race didn't panic too much. All the devil race reorganized their troops and attacked the ruins again. As for the human race in the ruins, seeing the disappearance of the demonic array, each and every one of them saw the hope of survival. Under the command of the conference hall, all the sects no longer held back and sent out their disciples to fight the devil race in the sky, in the forest, or by the river. In the sky, the devil spirit Xiaohua spent a dozen days absorbing the demonic array. When the last wisp of devil qi fell into his stomach, Xiaohua and the others beside him also let out a soft cry and withdrew their dharma forms. The originally khaki-colored bone-honing Xiaohua stopped the Big Dipper magical fist, and 10% of his body turned emerald green. Good. Xiaohua looked left and right, then bowed and said, "Fellow Taoists, you've worked hard. Fellow Taoists, you've worked hard." The clones all smiled and returned the greeting. Xiaohua's divine sense swept across the ruins and said with a smile, "Now the human race in the ruins is evenly matched with the devil race, and even has the upper hand. That devil emperor Qi has also been seriously injured by us, and is no longer a threat. We can kill some devil monarchs and lend the ruins a hand. How about it?" "Very good." The clones responded and were about to move. At this time, A layer of strange fluctuation suddenly appeared in the sky. That fluctuation blew over like a storm, and it even gave birth to a bit of fluorescent brilliance in the air. Moreover, where the fluctuation passed, all the heaven-earth origin chi was destroyed, and all the devil chi was also pierced through. Of course, this fluctuation was like the wind. After it swept over, the heaven-earth origin chi also recovered extremely quickly, and the devil chi also recovered to its original state. Chapter 4179. Great Desolate Starstorm? Xiaohua was shocked. Looking at the direction of the fluctuation and the remaining fireflies in the sky, he hurriedly shouted, "How? How did it come so fast?" Fellow Taoist. Just as Xiaohua's voice landed, Soul Cultivator Xiaohua immediately exclaimed in ecstasy, "The Great Snow Mountain's divine sense mark is clear again. It must be that after this demonic array is destroyed, the Great Desolate Starstorm will also break through the barrier between the two realms. I can sense the Great Snow Mountain." Great. Xiaohua was overjoyed and hurriedly ordered, "Fellow Taoists, quickly return to your positions. We will activate the South Diverging North technique right now." How could bone-tempering Xiaohua and the others dare to stay for a moment longer? They all entered Xiaohua's body. Not far away, Lianqi was very puzzled and hurriedly urged his figure to come over and ask. When Soul Cultivator Xiaohua entered Xiaohua's body, he still exhorted, "Fellow Taoist, don't rashly activate your soul technique. Our cultivation is not enough. When crossing the barrier between the two realms, it's best to use the teleportation array." "And I know." Xiaohua nodded. Seeing Lianqi flying over, he waved his hand and said, "Sect Master Mo, the Great Desolate Starstorm has already arrived. You all should quickly make a plan. The demon race is also afraid of this Great Desolate Starstorm, and will definitely withdraw their troops early. I promised your ancestors matter. I will definitely accomplish it. You should also help I a little. I have a disciple." At this point, Xiaohua's heart trembled. He hurriedly shut his mouth and shouted, "You don't need to care about I's matter. Quickly inform the discussion hall about the Great Desolate Starstorm." Lianqi was somewhat puzzled as to why Xiaohua didn't say anything. However, when he heard about the Great Desolate Starstorm, his heart was also in chaos. He cupped his hands and said, "All right, I will inform the discussion hall. Taoist, please return to the Soaring Dragon Mountain range to arrange your disciple." Finished speaking, Lianqi hurriedly left. Xiaohua's divine sense swept over and teleported towards the teleportation array. Naturally, there was a fierce battle between the human race and the devil race near the transmission array. But Xiaohua's arrival did not attract the attention of the human race or the devil race. Xiaohua's figure paused in the air for a moment, his eyes looking around, looking at the place where the battle once took place. He transmitted a few words to Wu Tian, telling him to prepare to come out and look for an opportunity to leave. He then descended into the ground, closed his eyes and meditated for a moment, then entered the transmission array. After that, Xiaohua used the going south, going north technique to confirm the location marked by the Great Snow Mountain's divine sense, and activated the transmission array and soul technique. Seeing a transmission channel appear in the void, Xiaohua stepped into it. The moment his figure disappeared, he did not forget to turn his head to look at ruins. He knew that once he went in, he would not be able to see ruins again in this life, and he would not be able to see Yu Mingxin, who had some feelings for him. What Xiaohua didn't expect was that when his figure entered the transfer channel slowly closed, and the transfer array under the ground slowly stopped operating. Another demon flapped his wings and flew over. Wasn't he the demon General Sakura that Xiaohua had seen in the demon array before? At this time, Sakura was in a rather sorry state. There were many lacerations on his demon wings. Not only were devil flames seeping out of these wounds, but his white demon bones were also exposed. What was special was that some devil chi was uncontrollably emitting from the wounds. He looked like a sparrow with its tail on fire. When Sakura flew close to the teleportation array, the demon horn on his forehead suddenly produced a layer of faint devil halo. Sakura's face immediately became nervous. However, when he scanned the surroundings with his devil sense, he didn't find anything abnormal. His nervousness was replaced by ecstasy. Immediately after, the devil chi around Sakura's body surged. The halo on his demon horn became brighter and brighter. His figure flew towards the teleportation array that Xiaohua was teleported to. When he landed in the sky above the teleportation array, a wave of energy shot out from his demon horn. It was precisely aimed at the underground space where the teleportation array was about to close. However, this wave of energy was weak when it landed in the void. It couldn't open the restriction of the teleportation array. Sakura turned his head to look. It seemed that there were pursuers behind him. He clenched his teeth and took out a triangular bronze magic weapon from his demon palm. This magic weapon had a faint wave of energy. Moreover, the wave of energy was already disorderly. Obviously, the array inside was already on the verge of collapse. Sakura threw this magic weapon into the wave of energy from his demon horn. That magic weapon was hidden in the void by him, using a secret technique from the demon realm. Soon after, he flew another 100 feet forward and fell on the ground. His entire body was twitching slightly on the ground. He looked like he was already exhausted. "Quick! Senior brothers, that demon general is over there." Sakura had just set up an ambush when a slightly weak divine sense swept over from afar. Then, Yumingshin's voice came through while gnashing his teeth. "She's already seriously injured and can't hold on any longer. Let's join hands and kill her to avenge senior brother Changming and the others." After Yumingshin, who was holding a long whip and wearing a silk handkerchief on her face, appeared Yang Haoya, who was holding a long sword, also flew out. After seeing Sakura's appearance, he immediately pulled away from Yumingshin and flew towards Sakura in a fan shape. He even shouted, "That's right. This guy is too cunning." He actually set up an ambush next to the teleportation array and killed senior brother Changming. "If I don't avenge senior brother Changming today, I won't be able to eat or sleep in peace in the future. Be careful." After flying for a while, Wan Wuxin also flew over with a long saber in his hand and warned, "I'm afraid there's an ambush here." "Humph, the heaven-earth origin chi here is not only abundant, but also chaotic. There's no trace of devil chi," Yang Haoya coldly snorted. "If you say there's an ambush by my Dao disciples, I can still believe it." "That's right, little sister also doesn't believe it." Yumingshin raised her head and looked at the sky. The devil chi there had already dissipated, and the rumbling sound was incessant. She said, "The devil race's devil array has already been destroyed by Senior Xiao and the rest. Sooner or later, the devil race will be driven out of the ruins by our human race. How can they still set up an ambush here?" Wan Wuxin looked at the two men and women, who were full of confidence, and smiled bitterly in his heart. He opened his mouth and wanted to remind them, but he still stopped. He released his divine sense to search carefully. After confirming that there wasn't an ambush, the three of them were already close to Sakura. Wan Wuxin shouted again, "Senior brother Yang, junior sister Mingxin, we don't need to get too close to this fiend. We can just take out our magic artifacts here and kill him." "That's right." Yumingxin nodded with hatred. She circulated the magic power in her body, and that long whip transformed into a huge python that pounced towards Sakura's back. Yang Haoya didn't dare to be negligent. He also raised his long sword, and the sword chi was like a rainbow. It tore through the air and fell towards Sakura's head. Wan Wuxin waved his long sword, and a crimson-red sword shadow came out from his body. It let out a rumbling sound and fell towards Sakura's back like a huge millstone. Just as the three of them took out their magic artifacts, Sakura's body that was lying down didn't change. His head that was facing away from everyone suddenly turned around strangely, and his face revealed a mocking and ridiculing expression. Not good. Wan Wuxin was alarmed. He circulated the magic power in his body and wanted to retreat quickly. Unfortunately, he was still too late. Just below the three of them, that magic artifact that was hidden in the void revealed itself. The fluctuations on the magic artifact were abnormally chaotic. A surge of energy gushed out from the magic artifact and enveloped the surrounding few miles. Although Yumingxin, Yang Haoye and Wan Wuxin were already alerted, and each of them circulated their magic power to protect themselves. That magic artifact that Sakura had obtained from an unknown place had an extremely strong explosive power. That violent force closed in and knocked the three of them into the sky. It even tore apart the magic that the three of them had used to defend themselves. Even their corporeal bodies were damaged greatly, and when the magic artifact's force fell on the ground, the entire earth was trembling. On the ground, there were originally withered branches, gravel, and hills. Normally, no one would come here. After the impact force passed, the wilderness was cleared out, and an open space was formed. What was special was that under the open space, a layer of mysterious restriction was torn apart. Even more chaotic and frightening chi of heaven and earth surged out from the ground. The heavy rumbling sound was also exposed. Although the naked eye couldn't see through the ground, Sakura's devil sense could see clearly. Wasn't that a transmission array that was about to stop? Joy appeared on Sakura's face. His devil body that was lying on the ground suddenly flapped his wings, and his entire body suddenly rushed into the transmission array. However, with a flash of brilliance in the transmission array, his body was actually about to disappear. Without waiting for Sakura's body to disappear, Yu Mingxin, Yang Haoye, and Wan Wuxin flew to the sky above the transmission array at the same time. The three of them were wearing ragged clothes, and there were bloodstains all over their bodies. It was obvious that they were severely injured. However, when the three of them scanned with their divine senses, they were all shocked. Wan Wuxin cried out, Why is there a transmission array here? This devil general is escaping. Chase! Yu Mingxin shouted without hesitation. Her body swayed, and she executed an escape technique to pounce into the transmission array. Junior sister Mingxin. Yang Haoye hurriedly cried out. This transmission array appeared for no reason. Could it be the devil general's scheme? It can't be. Wan Wuxin had long understood what was going on. This is our Taoist transmission array. Although I don't know why this devil general is able to activate it, and I don't know why he doesn't use vital stones. Since it's our ruined transmission array, it must be used by the human race. This demon must have been a blind cat running into a dead mouse to find this place. If he wants to use this transmission array to escape, how can we let him do as he wishes? Wan Wuxin's thoughts were meticulous. Yu Mingxin and Yang Haoye had always believed in him. Although Yang Haoye was still somewhat hesitant, Yu Mingxin was eager for revenge. When she heard Wan Wuxin's agreement, she had already executed her escape technique and rushed into the transmission array. Since Yu Mingxin was moved, Yang Haoye and Wan Wuxin didn't dare to delay and rushed into the transmission array at the same time. At this moment, in that transmission array, Sakura's figure had just disappeared. When the three of them entered, the transmission array let out a final rumble. After sending the three of them into the transmission array, it immediately stopped. However, in just a moment, the brilliance gradually receded, and the fluctuations of the heaven and earth vital energy also died down. The great battle in the ruins was still ongoing. Xiaohua and Sakura both teleported away. Yu Mingxin, Yang Haoye, and Wan Wuxin also chased after them. As for what was at the other end of the transmission array, Xiaohua knew in his heart. The other devil general and the three human cultivators didn't know. However, somewhere in the star domain, that nameless existence that was alarmed by the celestial skeleton stopped again. His body flickered with a strange brilliance, and he stuck his head out from the starlight. However, in just a moment, this existence's eyes were filled with astonishment. He tore open the void and rushed in. The direction was actually where Xiaohua's transmission array disappeared. Chapter 4180. As for Xiaohua, he had already held the Grand Cosmos shifting token in his hand. The magic tool flickered with a faint halo that enveloped him. When the heavy spatial energy from the teleportation array landed on this halo, it only caused a slight ripple before disappearing again. At this moment, Xiaohua was activating the teleportation channel, while using the going south way north technique. His expression was very cautious, and he appeared to be very careful. After experiencing the error in the previous teleportation, Xiaohua already knew that even if his cultivation was at the level of a god, he could not be careless at any time. There were too many accidents in this world, and every unexpected accident would cause a huge change. And this change would happen most of the time. In other words, nothing could be done according to his wishes. Even if he had already built the teleportation channel and used the going south way north technique to discover the Great Snow Mountain's divine sense mark, he still did not have any confidence that he could teleport to the sky above the Great Snow Mountain. In fact, the current Xiaohua did not dare to imagine that he could reach the Great Snow Mountain. He only hoped that he could return to the hidden immortal continent, Western Paradise, or any place in the Thousand Demons sacred realm, as long as it was related to the three continents. Xiaohua even hoped that he could return to the Dawn Rain continent. That would be even more wonderful. However, these were all extravagant hopes. Xiaohua only hoped that the divine sense mark in the distance would be stable, and not like it was now, like a candle in the wind. Fortunately, the teleportation channel had already been going for several hours. Although the divine sense mark was like a candle in the wind, it was still clear, and there were no signs of it disappearing. This made Xiaohua rather gratified. However, this teleportation channel was really long. It felt even longer than when he went from the heavenly prison to the ruins. Xiaohua had never experienced such a long teleportation in his life. When the teleportation channel had already become a habit, Xiaohua suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. This was because the closer the distance, the clearer the divine sense mark should be. However, in Xiaohua's soul technique, the divine sense mark of the Great Snow Mountain was always like that, neither far nor near. Even after several hours of teleportation, it was still so far away, like a natural star, forever beautiful but forever untouchable. Just as Xiaohua's doubts appeared, the entire teleportation channel suddenly began to tremble. The space around Xiaohua released a trembling sound. Xiaohua was greatly alarmed. The soul strands on his forehead surged out like a swarm of bees and landed on the transportation channel, where the green seal characters were crazily surging. However, before the teleportation passageway could stabilize for a few breaths of time, a strange creaking sound was heard again. It was like a wooden boat being unable to bear the weight of the waves. After that, Xiaohua watched helplessly as the teleportation passageway seemed to be stretched by a large hand. Even his own body became flat and slender along with the passageway. "Ah!" Xiaohua tried to call out. His voice was very soft, but it was also extremely long. When Xiaohua's figure was distorted by the time, and every part of his body was fluctuating to different degrees, Xiaohua understood that he was once again in a turbulent flow of time. Of course, Xiaohua wasn't surprised at all by this situation. Furthermore, he wasn't alarmed but happy instead. The existence of the turbulent flow of time made it clear that he wanted to leave the ruins, leave the star field where the ruins were located. In other words, he wanted to leave the upper realm, where the primordial spirit was cultivated, and return to the hidden immortal continent, where he was familiar with cultivating the nascent soul. However, when the four walls of the teleportation channel slowly became transparent, the green seal characters, runes, and even the fluctuations of magic power were slowly erased. Xiaohua himself was distorted to the point where he was almost unrecognizable. Perhaps he was just like a light shadow or a fluctuation. Only then did Xiaohua start to feel fear. At this moment, his magic power disappeared, his divine sense disappeared, his soul consciousness disappeared, and the soul technique that controlled the teleportation channel disappeared. Even his thoughts were slowly being pulled out. His eyes were pitch black. A deathly stillness that was even quieter than the heavenly prison began to pass through his body and rush into his mind. He couldn't control his own body, and he couldn't control his steps even more. A kind of ignorant terror pervaded Xiaohua's heart. He was like a mortal walking alone in a pitch-black mountain in the middle of a pitch-black night. Xiaohua was fearful of the unknown things in front of him. What is that? Just when Xiaohua was feeling helpless in the boundless darkness, he saw a hazy brilliance. A ribbon of light appeared in Xiaohua's vision. This light knot was very strange. It was like a complete ribbon of light that was cut off. Moreover, it twisted at the place where it was cut off and reconnected again. Above this time knot, rays of light that were as bright as swimming fish flickered and surged. These rays of light didn't need to leave one side of the light knot, and could easily flow to the other side. Xiaohua was a little dumbstruck by this sight. Seeing the light knot, Xiaohua's figure suddenly sped up. His distorted figure was even more like a light shadow being cut apart, turning into pieces. Ah, could it be that I'm still in the teleportation channel? Xiaohua suddenly came to a realization. But in this space-time turbulence, I can no longer see the teleportation channel. Just when Xiaohua came to a realization, he suddenly lowered his head again. He pulled his gaze away from the vision in the distance, and looked at his own body. At this time his body was no longer in shape. It had already turned into pieces of light shadows. These light shadows didn't follow any rules. Moreover, as the teleportation channel sped up, these light shadows were cut again, turning into smaller light shadows. This happened a few times. Before the light knot, Xiaohua's figure was already formed from small particles. Xiaohua suddenly had a flash of inspiration. He recalled the time when he followed Fairy Hong Xia into the ancestral shrine star in the millions of Meng Mountains. At that time, didn't he turn into a particle? Could it be that, by turning into a particle, I can fly faster? Could it be that in this star field, only the particle form is the best state to fly? Xiaohua's almost stagnant mind rumbled as he thought of his light escape. Allowing the body to be light is an escape. Light is formless and intangible. How can I allow the body to be light? Since light can shine in this star field, could it be that light is also in the form of particles? Xiaohua seemed to have touched the door of light escape. Unfortunately, he didn't have time to think about it, because his figure was really like a lightning bolt, rushing towards the huge light knot. In just a moment, Xiaohua had already arrived in front of the light knot. On the contrary, when he got closer, Xiaohua could no longer see the shape of the light knot. He could only see that the light knot was vast and boundless. On one side of the light knot, there was a tide of light more majestic than the sea surging violently. Every time it moved, there would be endless fluctuations rushing out from the light spot. Xiaohua was very familiar with these fluctuations. They were the fluctuations of time in the heavenly prison. Although Xiaohua's ears couldn't hear any sound, the rumbling sound that reached the heavens and earth resounded in his heart. This sound could almost destroy all the sounds in the world. How is this possible? Xiaohua was dumbstruck as he looked at the miracle between heaven and earth. Even in the incomparably mysterious heavenly prison, all he could see was the brilliance produced by the intersection of several different time domains. This brilliance was already extremely rare, and had already benefited him greatly. He had never thought that besides the heavenly prison, in this mysterious space, there would actually be time turbulence that surpassed the heavenly prison's time domain. And what made him especially puzzled was that the mark of the Great Snow Mountain's spiritual sense that he sensed was actually within the chaotic and incomprehensible time turbulence. Moreover, his spiritual sense mark was like a candle in the wind, not far nor near. Damn it, it must be the law of time. Xiaohua suddenly understood. Only the law of time can surpass the law of space, and allow the spiritual sense mark of the Great Snow Mountain to maintain a constant distance. Could it be that the 3 continents are within the light knot? The 3 continents are actually so mysterious? As Xiaohua pondered, his figure once again rushed into the knot of light. As Xiaohua's speed increased, strange lights and shadows flashed before his eyes like lightning. Within these lights and shadows, there were endless illusions. There were continents, mountains, rivers, and battles of life and death. All kinds of strange and motley things appeared one after another in the lights and shadows. Boom! When Xiaohua crashed into the knot of light, countless voices once again rushed into his mind. Of course, these voices were merely like thunder, and after flashing past, they immediately became silent. Moreover, around Xiaohua's body that had already turned into particles, endless light dots drowned Xiaohua like a tide of light. It was as if only Xiaohua existed in this world at this time. Sensing that every particle on his body was emitting a kind of fluctuation, Xiaohua really wanted to cry but had no tears. He wanted to take this opportunity to comprehend some of the law of time, but the chaotic fluctuations of time made him want to comprehend until he died. Another few moments later, this tide of light produced a small vortex. This vortex gradually condensed into a flow of time as Xiaohua went deeper, wantonly flowing in the light knot. The three continents. Seeing an indistinct continent that seemed to be formed by countless illusions superimposed together in the flow of time, Xiaohua cried out in alarm. It must be. Otherwise, how could this Xiao's divine sense mark appear on it? However, in just a moment, Xiaohua wanted to cry but had no tears. His thoughts were as slow as a crawling snail. Damn it, with such a chaotic flow of time, even if this Xiao returned to the Great Snow Mountain, then who knows when in the hidden immortal continent? Maybe 1,000,000 years ago, maybe 1,000,000 years later. What's the point of this Xiao going back to the hidden immortal continent like this? Unfortunately, even if Xiaohua didn't want to go back, his body that had almost turned into a light shadow still quickly crashed into the continent. Just as he approached one of the illusions on the continent, suddenly, his body of 13,200 particles slightly shook, and the transmission array that had disappeared in the flow of time suddenly reappeared. As if it had bumped into something, it suddenly became unstable. Moreover, just as his body was trembling, a vague image of light and shadow appeared amidst the myriad of light and shadow. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.